Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. My name is Nana Tufo Boateng. Good to have you. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, not too sunny, not too warm, not too cold. It's in between there somewhere, and we love it. And we hope that you are pumped, you are ready for the day. All right. Just a quick fruitful thought for you. I've been thinking about indiscipline, right? And it's so vast, it's so widespread. And I'm thinking that it cuts across various sectors. So why don't we serialize it? Okay, so this morning I want us to do a quick focus, a zoom in on indiscipline on our roads, right? But we're not going to leave it at that. We're going to look at the economics of indiscipline. The economics of indiscipline with the focus on road traffic violations. Okay, now take a look at this. Indiscipline on our roads is pervasive, okay, and it manifests in several forms: speeding, wrongful parking, overloading vehicles, okay, and just name it, a number of others, disregard for traffic signals and what have you. Now, these behaviors not only threaten public safety, okay, they also contribute to the destruction of property, our roads. They lead to accidents that destroy road infrastructure and all that. And so just think about it. If we attack the economics of indiscipline, we should be able to generate enough revenue to address some of our local assembly or local initiatives. All right, if we address or we deal with these traffic violations or road indiscipline, road violations, road infractions, if we deal with them strategically, then this country can harness an untapped economic opportunity, and which will serve as a source of public revenue. Think about if we're going to fine people who have parked indiscriminately, okay? If there are instant fines for such persons, of course these fines will be administered by the local assemblies, so it also serves as a source of internally generated funds, an IGF for the assembly. If you're parked indiscriminately, then you are fined. If you're caught over speeding or speeding, then you are fined. If you're caught disregarding traffic signals, you are fined. Now think about all the revenue that can be generated from someone's indiscipline. You can only preach to the people, okay? But if people want to be indisciplined, they will be indisciplined. But what you can do as an authority is to look at the economics of the person's indiscipline and find an avenue, an untapped opportunity, economic opportunity in there to generate some funds locally. So let's just think about it as a people, as a country. I mean, there are so many examples to look at, and so many examples that we can follow and implement. And of course, we can generate some revenue from people's recklessness, from people's indiscipline, road traffic violations, and all that. And then we can generate some funds internally to develop this country. We can leave it to the assemblies to implement by decentralizing the system in a way that if you're caught within, say, Ladade Kotopong, disregarding traffic signals, then you are fined by the assembly. They commit men to the roads, you are fined there and then, or you could digitalize the system so that you can link, saying, to the vehicle registration of the individual, and then when they are caught jumping the traffic lights or traffic signals, if they are caught speeding where they are not supposed to, if you are caught parked where you are not supposed to be parked, automatically the system, the digitized system, generates a fine which can be deducted at source during your registration, or you can be fined, processed for court. The court insists and collects that revenue for the state. All right. So let's begin to look at how we can make money out of indiscipline. At another point, we'll look at sanitation and how we can generate revenue from sanitation. People who choose to engage in some of these indiscriminate activities, and of course indiscipline in society. But let's just think about it for now, and let's find ways. Even as we're helping to build our country, we should take advantage of the indiscipline, the unwarranted behavior of individuals, and let's make money out of them. All right, good one there. Let's get into the newspapers this morning. Let's look at what the papers are saying. I'll take you to the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. This one has John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, captured on the front page. We know that last night he addressed the nation on his performance and the performance of his administration after 120 days in office, which 120th day elapsed yesterday. And so Daily Graphic is here reporting that Mahama fulfills 72% 120-day pledge. Mahama fulfills 72% 120-day pledge. If you look at other stories on the front page, Mahama's government shows promise, but challenges loom. Mahama's government shows promise, but challenges loom. Citizenry assess 120 days in office. Tackling complexities of Galamsey. Government pledges to fund pollutants removal from rivers and farmlands. Tackling complexities of Galamsey. Government pledges to fund pollutants removal from rivers and farmlands. MPs demand action on Odo River encroaches. MPs demand action on Odo River encroaches. We spoke about this yesterday because we know that the Works and Housing Committee of Parliament visited some dredging sites along the Koli Lagoon and the Odo River in Accra, and one of the assessments that they made was the wanton encroachment along the waterways, and they suggested that indeed action should be taken to make sure that these encroachers are moved from there. However, they also lauded the company engaged in the dredging of the Odo and the Koli. That's Dredge Masters. They commended them for the work that they've done so far, but the major challenge had to do with human activity and its contribution to the sanitation, the degradation of the environment, as well as the pollution of the environment. And so Graphic is reporting that MPs demand action on Odo River encroaches, which I wholeheartedly agree and subscribe to. Okay. Let's take it to the back page of the Daily Graphic. Back page says LADMA, that's the Ladade-Kotopo Municipal Assembly members, reject MCE nominee, call for Akron. Ladade-Kotopo Municipal Assembly members reject MCE nominee, call for Akron. I think there's a developing issue that we should be looking at. We'll find time on the show to discuss this. Okay, the rejection of the president's nominees for metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. It looks like it's quite widespread now. On the Channel 1 newsroom, we've been bringing you reports from various areas, the Greater Accra region, the Ashanti region, the Eastern region, and several other areas regarding the process for the approval of MCEs, DCEs across the country. In certain areas, there have been clashes between supporters of a nominated person and party faithful, throwing accusations at each other. So perhaps we should bring some stakeholders within that sector and have a conversation regarding the appointments, the nomination, the approval of metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives. We'll be looking at that hopefully in the coming days. All right, let's take a look at some stories that made it to the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Edu Boaheng exposes national security ops. MPs fingered. This I'm still at a loss when I saw this. I've been trying to wrap my head around it and why these revelations at this point in time when the matter is in court. But we know how the lawyers are able to adopt their own legal technicalities to have their way in court. We'll find out how this will impact or otherwise the case pending before the court regarding the alleged misappropriation of some 41 million Ghana cedis by the ex-boss of the National Signals Bureau. Okay, yesterday he in what appears to be a letter sort of made a number of revelations regarding how the monies he's been accused of misappropriating or stealing, if you like, have been expended, and it leaves more questions than answers. Okay, so we'll be looking at this and we'll bring some perspectives to it. All right, let's check out some other stories on the page. Asante Hima praise for birthday boy Otumfuo. We know that the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom is 75 years, which marks also his 26 years, I think, on the throne as the king or the overlord of the Ashanti Kingdom. And Asantehema is captured here praying for the Otumfo Osei-Tutu II. Akatachieso residents protest forceful mine takeover. Akatachieso residents protest forceful mine takeover. Swissport cocaine suspects get 52 million Ghana cedis bail. Swissport cocaine suspects get 52 million Ghana cedis bail. Okay, we'll get into the details subsequently. But let's take you to the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times front page says, beyond 120 days, focus on bringing relief to Ghanaians. This is Dr. Foster Abu Sakara speaking there. Beyond 120 days, focus on bringing relief to Ghanaians. Okay. Ghana demonstrates global leadership in immunization. That's the Gavi boss speaking there. Ghana demonstrates global leadership in immunization. Gavi boss speaking. BOG's gold reserves increased to 31.37 tons. BOG's gold reserves increased to 31.37 tons. And then you have the Times Needy Fund story that's looking for some assistance for a burdened journalist who's suffering brain tumor. Okay, let's look at some other newspapers and what they are saying. I'll take you to Daybreak newspaper. Daybreak says, Bawumia Store energizes NPP, says in Team Fojo. Bawumia Store energizes NPP, says in Team Fojo. Ex-NSB boss, 49 million Ghana cedis went to MPs, opposition, and Mahama aid. Hey, Assemble debut. Ex-NSB boss, that's the National Signals Bureau, former boss, Kwabena Edubuahin, says the 49 million Ghana cedis he's been accused of stealing went to MPs, the opposition, and Mahama aid. New court complex inaugurated in Winneba. New court complex inaugurated in Winneba. I caught a clip of a moot court session during that inauguration, and it was quite interesting, quite exciting to watch the minority leader Alexander Fenyomarkin play counsel to a defendant, and it was interesting to see the process of seeking a bail for an accused person in court. Quite exciting. You should go check it out. It's on social media out there. It's quite interesting to see how all these play out in court, and for the minority leader to engage in some of these things. I think kudos to him. The human approach, the human face approach is quite important in our governance and, of course, our democratic dispensation. All right. World Press Freedom Day, KGL boss seeks stronger media partnership. World Press Freedom Day, KGL boss seeks stronger media partnership. And then there's a story that is yet to be published. It says, coming up, Run Luke Limited and the African Plains South Irrigation Project scandal. Okay, we should be getting details soon from the Daybreak newspaper. The New Republic is here, and it comes with a picture of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, and it says, Mahama's strong start in 120 days. No scandals. CD climbs. Inflation falls. Mahama's strong start in 120 days. No scandals. CD climbs. Inflation falls. EC boss in the hot seat as ashes of conflict trace back to Galamsey pits at Abrewa Ninkrang. Hey, EC boss in the hot seat as ashes of conflict trace back to Galamsey pits at Abrewa Ninkrang. Mahama settles Hajj board debts. Mahama settles Hajj board debts. Kush epidemic sweeps West Africa. Kush epidemic sweeps West Africa. 762 billion Ghana cedis spent on unused food every year. 762 billion Ghana cedis spent on unused food every year. Interesting. Third Force Alliance backs Chief Justice suspension. Third Force Alliance backs Chief Justice suspension. All right, let's get into some business papers. I'll start with the Business Analyst. Business Analyst says, first 120 days focused on building a just and prosperous Ghana. This is John Dramani Mahama speaking, the president. He says, first 120 days focused on building a just and prosperous Ghana. Inflation drops to 21.2% in April. Inflation drops to 21.2% in April. Corporate Ghana must support the media. That's the KGL boss. He was speaking during an event to commemorate the World Press Freedom Day. Deputy Finance Minister applauds Italy's continued support for Ghana. Deputy Finance Minister applauds Italy's continued support for Ghana. World Bank forecast a decline in global food prices in 2025. World Bank forecast decline in global food prices in 2025. And let me take you quickly to the Business and Financial Times, BNFT. Front page says $43 billion needed annually to meet 2030 SDGs. That's the Sustainable Development Goals. $43 billion needed annually to meet the 2030 SDGs. This is a UN economist speaking. In the banking sector, we're being told by the paper that First National Bank has recorded an impressive Q1 performance with a significant boost in capital position. First National Bank records impressive Q1 performance with a significant boost in capital position. On the economy, inflation eases further, drops to 21.2% in April 2025. Inflation eases further, drops to 21.2% in April 2025. And when you go to the mining sector, the paper is reporting that Anglo Goldfields paused talks on mine measure to prioritize standalone gains. Anglo Gold and Goldfields paused talks on mine measure to prioritize standalone gains. All right, you get some other stories. SSA auto industry holds long-term growth potential, and a host of other stories there in the Business and Financial Times. I'm going to take you online quickly. We'll go to channel1news.com and see what's happening there. Let's see what Channel 1 News is leading with. The main story there has to do with the president's address from last night. A number of stories are from there. This one says new scholarships authority bill to be laid before Parliament. New scholarships authority bill to be laid before Parliament. This is attributed to John Dramani Mahama. Let's look at some other stories. You'll be fired if Akosombo Dam flooding recurs. Mahama warns VRA management. You'll be fired if Akosombo dam flooding recurs. This is Mahama warning management of the Volta River Authority. Let's look at some other stories. Culprits behind collapsed banks will be sanctioned. Culprits behind collapsed banks will be sanctioned. John Mahama speaking there again. 120 days. Mahama boasts sweeping tax reforms, economic resets. Okay, 120 days. Mahama boasts sweeping tax reforms and economic resets. Let's check out some other stories. Mahama has made significant progress on all 25 promises. That's Kwache Ofosu. That's the government's communications minister, or minister in charge of government communications, Felix Kwache Ofosu, speaking there. Yesterday we had a roundtable to assess the performance of John Dramani Mahama and his government after 120 days in office, and also a number of stories came out of there. This one says Mahama's code of conduct lacks cross-government enforcement. That's the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Mary Ada was here, and this is what she says, that Mahama's code of conduct lacks cross-government enforcement attributed to the GII, that's the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Ex-NSB boss details how alleged 49 million Ghana cedis was spent. Ex-NSB boss details how alleged 49 million Ghana cedis was spent. E-levy cancellation was a big relief for the youth. That's attributed to CDD Ghana. E-levy cancellation was a big relief for the youth. And then you have economist Lords Mahama for prioritizing fiscal discipline in 120 days. Economist Lords Mahama for prioritizing fiscal discipline in 120 days. And future governments must adopt Mahama's 120-day accountability model. Future governments must adopt Mahama's 120-day accountability model. This is attributed to Kofi Asari. Kofi Asari is with the Africa Education Watch. All right, let me take you to citynewsroom.com. citynewsroom.com. 120 days. I take my promises seriously. My word is my bond. This is His Excellency, the President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, speaking there. Says 120 days. I take my promises seriously. My word is my bond. DVLA to open 6 new foreign offices to curb fake licenses. DVLA to open 6 new foreign offices to curb fake licenses. Afenyo Marken reports to police over alleged assault incident. Afenyo Marken reports to police over alleged assault incident. You know that following that letter to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, from the CID requesting that the minority leader Alexander Afenyo Marken be released to assist in investigations into that alleged assault video, the Speaker has subsequently directed Mr. Alexander Afenyo Marken to avail himself to the police for the investigations to progress. Okay, and so we're being told by citynewsroom.com that Afenyo Marken reports to police over alleged assault incident. Okay, let's begin some other stories. This one is from the address by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and he says National Cathedral audit report due this month. National Cathedral audit report due this month. Yesterday he mentioned that auditing firm Deloitte and Touche had been commissioned to audit the National Cathedral. We know that some $58 million has been spent already regarding this particular project. John Dramani Mahama says the audit report by Deloitte and Touche into the $58 million National Cathedral project will be ready by end of May. That's by end of this month. And so we're looking forward to it to see what's in there. And of course, what recommendations will come out of that, what actions will be taken subsequently. I'll punish appointees who flout code of conduct. This is John Mahama speaking again. I'll punish appointees who flout code of conduct. This is also coming from his address to the nation, giving an account of his performance in office after the expiration of his 120-day social contract. Again, Mahama is here. He says first 120 days focused on building a just and prosperous Ghana. First 120 days focused on building a just and prosperous Ghana. We made promises and we've kept them. Again, John Mahama speaking. We made promises and we've kept them. And then his minister in charge of communications is here, Kwachio Fosu, Felix Kwachio Fosu, saying that Mahama on track with all 25 promises. Mahama on track with all 25 promises. But in a reaction to the president's performance after 120 days in office, a governance analyst, Professor Bafwa Jimendua, is here, reported here, saying that Mahama must explain unfulfilled 120-day promises to Ghanaians. The president admitted that not all the promises had been fulfilled, scoring himself some 72% out of 100. And Professor Bafwa Jimendua is here asking the president to explain the unfulfilled promises to Ghanaians. So we'll be looking at the president's address, his performance after 120 days in office, and of course there's a lot to mull over on the show this morning, because the issues keep coming up, and it's our duty here to serve you with the various perspectives, the various angles regarding all these topical issues. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. I am Nanatufo Boateng. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This Friday on Footprints, it's the turn of Kweku Sintin Misa, aka KSM, who shares his own story about his educational journey, his life as an actor, satirist, and talk show host.
Preserve constitution says if you come there even for one day, or that day, one day, or that day. But proper college, that is when I realized that I could really speak. You know, because I joined the debating society in 1973. For me now, in my old age, I think the multi-party thing has not done the best for us. And some sort of a union thinking of great minds would have helped Ghana better than what we have now. When I heard that Vibe, there's a new station called Vibe and they're looking for, at that time, they said presenters. I said, okay, then I think I can do talk radio. Almost every single stand-up comedian in Ghana was a university graduate.
Oh, wow.
Because they saw me and they realized, oh, so it's okay to have your master's and still joke. As part of my bragging rights, I changed that image. Cool. And I made comedy an intellectual exercise. Politically correct, and Rollins sitting there, his wife, many people from the, diplomatic community.
Yeah, I remember.
Footprints airs every Friday at 7 p.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
He says she's everything he wants, but she's breaking him piece by piece. A whole man, abused emotionally, physically, financially, yet still planning a proposal. Is this love or denial? This Friday at 9 p.m., join Chris Carter and her sisters on Sister Sister as they unpack the raw truth behind one man's painful letter and ask, what does love really look like when it hurts?
My girlfriend of 2 years has been abusing me in every way you can imagine, but I can't let her go. I met this lady at a business conference, and the moment she walked past me, she caught my attention. Since that day, she's been the only woman I can see myself with. I've told my parents about her, and I'm even planning to go meet hers. But I'm afraid this abuse will only get worse if we end up together. Ladies, what do I do about your fellow sister? I'm ready to put a ring on it.
Some men actually like that. And I think for the fact that he loves this girl and even wants his children to look like this girl, there are so many factors working in his favor. And the abuse shouldn't be something, it wouldn't be something he can't live with.
If it's my brother, I would do what I can to resist that, because
Why?
I don't think that this woman is going to give you the peace that you need.
His description of the girl, his admittance of love for this woman, and all of that points to the fact that there's a part of him that is enjoying this.
Yeah.
Sister Sister, real stories, real women, real talk. This Friday at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV. Sister Sister is proudly sponsored by Gino. Gino truly cares.
Welcome. It's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, play to aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to 8 every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to 8 game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
Thank you so much for choosing us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. I am Nanatufo Boate. It's time to get into a conversation regarding a host of issues, okay? There's so much to chew on, especially from the president's address last night, giving us an account of his performance after 120 days in office. We want to know what you also make of the president's performance in his first 120 days, your own assessment of the president's performance. So the show is interactive. Send us a text. Let us know what you think. Your thoughts, your comments, your recommendations, your suggestions, always welcome on the show. All right? So text us via the WhatsApp number on your screens. We're also active on social media, on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, where we're streaming live, Channel 1 TV. Go there, like, comment, share, and of course, let us know what you think. Okay, let me introduce my guest in the studio, Dr. Joshua Jebuntie Zato. He is a lecturer, a senior lecturer, Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. And it is important that I add that he is a member of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
It's good to have you.
It's good to have you here. Yes, that's how I was telling you. This is my first time on Studio Channel 1
Channel 1 TV, yeah.
I almost got lost today trying to find my way to where it is until I called somebody.
You've been staying on campus too long. You don't come to these parts.
I know, this big men come here.
Is it?
Just for big men. So we're the small guys. We hide in a small corner and deal with our issues. So
very well. But let's get straight into it. Did you have an opportunity to listen to the president?
Oh, yes. I listened to him yesterday. I listened to the president. And, you know, I always say some of these things look like rituals. And we are increasingly coming to take them for granted as a country. In one way, it's good. And those are some of the benefits of democracy. That a president feels that after 120 days, usually it's first 3 months, most. The universal, this and this, he added another 30 days.
Yeah, ordinarily you hear first 100 days.
100.
But
he added 20
he chose
days.
120.
Yeah, he did
that's
a
the full complement of the first quarter.
Exactly.
That's 3 months.
So mostly it is, I'm saying, it's a good thing for a president to say, look, I've done this much. Let me come and try to update you. It's a form of accountability. It is a form of trying to stay together with the people. And it's a form of saying that, well, now the euphoria is over. Now the poetry is over. Now campaigning is over. Now we are in the thick of things, because you see, transitions take time.
Yeah.
After the elections, you take power. And even the process of putting together a government, the process of taking over, the process of being in charge, it takes some time. But right now, after this mark, is when you say, this is where I draw the line. Everything now is me. It is because if you haven't taken over anything from the government, your problem. If you are not fully in charge of any sector of the economy, your problem. If you have not appointed the right person or the right persons to be in the right places, your problem. But this is where blaming or trying to blame a former government stops. This is where journalists, civil society organizations, and people begin to tell you, no. That luxury, that honeymoon is over.
It's over.
And so for me, that is the way I want us to see it, as a governance continuum. As us beginning today to tell the president that, it is now the JDM economy. It is now the NDC economy. It is now the JDM Jenopokunana economy. And now let's begin to do that. So that the idea of trying to quickly flip from and say it was done by the federal government we should begin to discard it.
So, I mean, what stood out for you? He mentioned a number of things. Let's look at his 25 promises.
Yes.
What stood out for you? And then he also gave us an idea of what he intends to do going forward. So let's start with what he says he has done so far.
Thank you. If you look at it, I mean, the daily graphic is scoring him at 72%. I think Imani Ghana is scoring him at about 50. The Institute of Economic Research and Public Policy is scoring him at 36%. So he's like, so if you're putting the averages together, he's coming somewhere. He's barely passing at 50, barely. If you just take this and start after that. But for me, I want to focus on two main issues that are critical to me. One, the fight against Galamsey, and number two, ethics, morals, and values. That is his code of conduct.
Right.
Let me start with the Galamsey. Whilst in a position, this made a very important point that Galamsey was an existential threat.
Yes.
That means that it has the potential to threaten our very life, our very existence, our very being, of whom we are. When something is an existential threat, you treat it as it is. You don't treat it with kid gloves. So there were certain things were promised. One of the biggest arguments, strongest arguments made, and one of the reasons why the former government lost civil society and lost a lot of the upper to middle class was precisely because of the poor handling, the perceived poor handling of Galamsey. And you could go, almost all TV stations, by the time you go, they say a box or something standing there with Galamsey water. So it played a part. We promised to come. Look, we will deal with it decisively. 120 days in the line, there's nobody, absolutely nobody, even civil society organizations, who will say we are winning it. I'm not saying we've won it. There is nobody, even civil society organizations, who will tell you that the tide is changing against Galamsey. No. The verdict is still poor F in Galamsey fights. Civil society organizations and the people that might ask for a few things. Declare state of emergency in all Galamsey areas. Laws matter. State of emergency matters. That is one of the lowest hanging fruits. You didn't do it. You promised to repeal, expunge the law that allows mining Galamsey Center.
The LI 246.
The LI 246. That was a promise. Expunge it, to repeal it. What did we get? Or what is promised now that it was amended? They are two different things.
But now we've been told that it will be repealed.
Again, well, so we are supposed to believe. So you understand. Now there are two. One, you told us that, I will expunge it. Then you said, sorry, I will not expunge it again.
I will amend it.
Then there's a third version. By the way, remember when I said I will not expunge it? I will go back again and I will expunge it. Now, some people will say that's a flip-flopping. Some people will say that is uncertainty. And some people will say that is indecision. I will say, I will buy it any day. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get there. It doesn't matter how long it takes the president to get there. Just get there. If this is what will get you there, I'm fine. Galamsey is an existential threat. So far, the way the Galamsey is handling is not different from the way it was handled in the former government. There are raids, yes. The soldiers are there. We are arresting people. We are supposed to be burning things. We are doing this and nothing different. So my humble plea and prayer is because it is an existential threat that it will receive. So far, everybody, and I'm not just saying, even look at civil society organizations, media coalitions for Galamsey, everybody is giving this government an F in the Galamsey fight. Please, for the sake of our democracy, for the sake of our survival, and for the fact that it is an existential threat, Mr. President, take the low-hanging fruit. We accept your indecision. We accept how difficult it is for you to get to the point where you can say that, let's expunge it. It doesn't matter. Let's just get a job done. So that is what Galamsey. We think that the government ought to do more, it should do more.
But you heard him speak on the Minerals and Mining Act of 2003. He says you are meant to permanently ban mining in forest reserves.
When sometimes government and governance is about priorities. Government and governance is about priorities. One of the first things the government sent to Parliament when they came was what? A bill or whatever to remove e-levy. And to remove betting tax.
This was one of the promises they made.
One of the promises you made. You did. They were done before Parliament rose. That means they were treated as #1 priorities. You want to tell me that enabling people to bet more is more a priority than an existential crisis of Galamsey. Because again, I didn't define it as essential. You did. But you rather chose to prioritize betting over what? An existential crisis. What commander-in-chief does that?
Probably that came easier.
You see, government is what nobody is voting into power to make easy choices. His Excellency, the president, knows that. Remember, he's one of the most experienced presidents in Ghana because he's been there before. So he knows the issues. He understands the issues. Government is about doing difficult things, and government is not a popularity contest. So this was a man who says, look, I understand the situations. I know the situations. And governance is also about what? Politics is about what? The art of the possibility. So you don't take easier, you are not voted to take easier decisions, to take cheap decisions, to take simple decisions. You were voted to take the what? The difficult decisions. And if you define Galamsey as an existential threat, I would have thought that was probably one of the first bills sent to Parliament. Expunge the bill, declare state of emergency, and then you do that. You understand? They've not done that. So for me, that is a big F there. And it's not only me. You can see just there's nobody, absolutely nobody. Talk to any of the media colleagues, talk about it, they will tell you nothing has so far been done to tell them that we are even beginning to turn the tide. You see, that is difficult, dangerous, because if you look at the previous government, the APP started doing some big things on Galamsey until it was almost time for elections. Then they suffered for the elections. Do you understand? Then they stopped. The best time to do some of your most difficult things, to implement some of your most unpopular decisions and policies, is in your honeymoon period.
You think so?
Yes, it's your early days, because honeymoon period, people still love you, your approval ratings are high, opposition is in disarray, they are struggling, they are trying to do. That gives you room to implement some of your most difficult decisions. So that's why if you go back,
not room to assess the actual situation before you take those decisions.
You implement your most difficult and popularly controversial decisions in your honeymoon period, and then you keep improving. Remember, governance is a continuum, and that is why when it comes to public policy, we talk about something called muddling through. You keep doing it, you keep implementing, you keep revising it. So look, go back and see. Akufo-Addo implemented his free HSS, some of the most difficult ones. This early in his administration. Go back, you will see that Akufo did most people, because that is a time that your approval rating is high and opposition is in disarray. But we are not seeing that here. So for me, His Excellency the President has an opportunity to be what? A generational president. He has an opportunity to be the president who can say that I've seen everything I've done.
Very well.
But right now, on this low ball of Galamsey, he's failing. Okay, that's number one. I can go to the code of conduct. The second issue is the code of conduct. It says we institute a code of conduct. Again, it's a good idea. I thank the president for looking at that, because governance matter, ethics matter, values matter in our governance system. And for a president to publicly say that, look, I'm going to do this and I'm going to put this in, it's laudable. I appreciate it. Secondly, the president is on board to be what? Penalizing his own appointees for meeting one of the key cardinal principles of this values ethics system. Remember, he's the same man who said that if you miss it, I'll fire you. He didn't fire them. Again, you started. See, sometimes politicians, political appointees are like children. They try to push their boundaries. And they want to see how far can we go. They've missed the first target. He's penalizing again with pay, with money. Again, that's
not all missed the first target. There were those who were appointed later on.
Good. So he's giving them a respite. That is good. That is a president who says that, look, sorry, you've missed one sign. I'll give you another chance. And then we go to the second thing. But there are deep-rooted problems, even in the code of conduct, in and of itself. What
are these?
One stands up. You cannot receive a gift more than 20,000
cedis.
That is more than $1,000. That's just a lot of money. Okay, but then they don't spell. Is it $20,000 per gift? Is it 20,000 cedis per day, per gift, per week, per gift, per year, per gift? So if today I'm a minister of state and I'm going to do my work, I start in Accra, somebody gives me 19,000 cedis. I continue to Kumasi, I get another 19,000. I get to Tamale, then I get to Tumu, my hometown of Tumu, and then I get another thing. That is already 100,000 cedis. Those are gifts. Do I keep them? Or do I return it to government? So the question is, how much am I supposed to collect? If somebody is supposed to give me a gift again, and what is the value? Secondly, how do we determine the value? So when you leave it this open, when you don't have a capability, it creates problems in and of itself. Who values it? How do I know? So I think it is something that should be tighter more, should be redefined. Because, if I'm a government appointee, I'm genuinely confused as to the gift I'm supposed to. This young man is my friend. He gives me a gift of this phone, mobile phone, iPhone. It's 20,000, I accept it. Tomorrow, if he gives me another gift of an Android phone of 20,000, should I accept it? Should I report it? You see, when you create an ambiguity around issues of ethics and values and morality, you are digging a hole that you cannot likely come out of.
Very well. Very well, very well. Let me say good morning to Elvis Dakon. Elvis Dakon is the editor of the News Center newspaper and newscenter.com. He has joined us this morning. I also want to say good morning to the Honorable Nilante Vanderpoy. He's the National Coordinator for the District Road Improvement Project or Program, that's TRIP. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Yes, John Dramani Mahama, 120 days in office. Yesterday, he addressed the nation. Elvis, did you watch or listen to him?
Oh, I didn't get a chance to watch it. But at least we know what he said he wants to do.
Right.
And we know what he has been able to do. 120 days in office for a president. It's like something almost every country they do to just say, 120 days of the president, what has he been able to do, the promises made and all that. And these are promises during the campaign. So at all costs, efforts will be made to make sure that something is done in place. The issue is that there's promises. When we describe them as fulfilled, what do we mean by fulfilled? That, for me, that is it. Is it that the mere start of it is fulfilled, or the policy has been implemented to a level where society is satisfied?
So it's the value thereof.
That you understand. So sometimes when I look at 120 days in office, and I look at what is said to have been done, the categorization would be, is it that everything that once it started means that it has been done? Because a lot of the things you talk about, in actual fact, the actual tests of those things are going to come later in your administration.
Right.
Because when you start it, there will be fanfare and pageantry. Because you promised to do it, you have started it. That's when everybody will be happy that it has been started.
So he's fulfilled the promise.
Yeah, but in the actual test of those policies begin to hit you along the way. And how you are able to address them becomes the test point. So sometimes I believe that the fanfare sometimes that goes with 120 days in office or 90 days in office. I don't really take much interest in that, because I believe that a 4-year term is what is going to define what you will be able to do with your mandate. And if within the 4-year term, with the things that you took credit and fanfare for along the way becomes your albatross that you struggle to deal with, then the question will be all the fanfare at the beginning to what end? And so for me, we have to look at some of this things. For instance, if the president is fighting Galamsey today, the Galamsey fight was on before he came to power. In fact, Galamsey fight started from President Mills. His first term, he continued as John Mahama. Akufo-Addo has come. He has come. So when they say, I'm going to fight Galamsey, it's part of 120, and you have come. For me, it's just like telling me something that we already know. You understand it? The reality is that what you are doing is what you did in your first term, is what Akufo-Addo has done. It's all that everybody attempt to find Galamsey has done, and we are where we are. We are not satisfied with where we are. That is why it was one of the key reasons why the former government was kicked down. The question is the 120 days that you want to take credit for, that you are fighting Galamsey. What is the state of our water bodies? So what credit is there to take for it? Are we being told that within the 120 days of John Mahama, our water bodies are clean? So you see, for me, arrest and seizure of excavators, it is nothing new. You understand my point? So for me, I think that yes, if you promise, it's a social contract you sign with people. You have to make sure that you fulfill it. But the beginning, starting it, to me, is not the entire fulfillment. If you are telling me that you have started the process, it's different from saying I have fulfilled. You understand it? That's why I'm citing the Galamsey fight, for instance. So I believe that it's easy for any government to do these things in their first term, because you told people you will do it. But see, those things that you started today, it's not like it's completed. It's a process. So it's along the 4 years or your mandate that the implementation is going to be confronted with challenges, and how you are able to address them. At the end of your 4-year term, that is where voters will go to the polls and says, yes, you promised to start it, you started it. While it ended up, I'm satisfied, so I will maintain you. How it ended up, I'm totally not satisfied, so I'm voting you out. So for me, I don't really take much joy or interest in this 120 day things that we talk about, because listen, everybody in Ghana will admit that the 120 days things we are so happy about have not solved even 5% of our national problems. You understand? But we are all anxious of solving our problems. So you start the processes of doing things. It does not mean that it's an end. It's a process. So for me, if you start something that's a process, I am more interested in maybe halfway or in the middle of it, and we do an assessment of it. But this one, as I said, is something that every government does around the world. And Trump has done it, and everybody will do it. So it's just like a normal thing any government that is voted into power will do, to tell the public that what I promised, I have started them. So for me, when we categorize them that fulfilled, sometimes I have a challenge with it, because I don't think that starting a process, something that's a process, and you start it and you say it's fulfilled, sometimes I will just take it that it's fulfilled. So sometimes it's good. It's good that a president, and you see, it's a form of accountability, because you said it during campaign. So if you told me that 120 I'll do ABCD, or I'll start the process to do ABCD, and 120 days you are telling me what you have done. So for me, it's very important in democracy that there should always be accountability about things.
Does the language of the document matter? Because when it says I will launch, and indeed he has launched, then that means he has fulfilled the promise.
That's what I'm saying. I've answered that question already. I said, look, a code of ethics has been launched today. Along the way, the implementation is where we are going to. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying that starting a process is one thing, and how the process pans out, especially when it gets to places where challenges come. It's another thing. For instance, my talked about the promise of repealing and revoking LI 240. Where are we today? The bill that was sent to Parliament did not revoke it.
Was for an amendment.
They just wanted trying to do an amendment of it. That was not a promise. You understand it? So, but now he realized that though I said I will revoke it, it takes a process.
Right.
You understand? Now he's talking about the fact that having been confronted with the reality, I realized that it's not easy to revoke it immediately. And that it has to go to a certain process. That's what I'm saying, that when we focus on the process, rather than the initial step, we'll be doing a more critical analysis of what we have been able to do. Because I've started it, I want to praise me. I will praise you for starting it, but then the process. Because right now, the reason they can't revoke LI 246 is because it's clear now that people have been given legitimate licenses to operate in those forest reserves. Government has the power to say, I have revoked it. But what will be the internal consequence? The consequence will be that those people will go to court and sue the government and claim huge money in judgment debt, because you have legally licensed them. A government is a government. It doesn't matter whether it's in power, who is in power. So if Ghana government licenses them that you can
mine in these areas,
and at the time you are making the process, you didn't pay attention to that. You said, I'll revoke it once I come to power. You understand it? And then all of a sudden, what do we see? You realize that no, if I just go ahead and do that, there will be a problem. You understand? So it has to be a process. So I am saying that when this thing happens, I'm more focused on the process than rather the starting. Because when you start, it's at the beginning. How will the process pan out? Even what we have said right now, look, to achieve that is going to be difficult. Because if somebody has a license still have about 10 years to expire, your amendment of the mining law will have to take consideration of the fact that then those leases have to expire. The only thing you can do is that you will not issue new licenses for mining in forest reserves. That one, nobody can sue you for that. But if somebody has a 10 years lease that is still valid, and you go and amend the law, you cannot make a new law to take retrospective effect to affect somebody's business interest. So it meant that you now are faced with it. You understand it? So we have to clearly look at 120 days. It's good you said I will do something. But as I said, it's a campaign message. So you say I will do because you are campaigning. You have to give people hope. But the reality of I will do is that
is the doing.
I'm starting. No, it's a start. This is what to do with the first 1 day. It's actually the beginning of a process.
Yeah.
And along the way is where we will actually have the time to really judge whether that process that you started, that we credited for trying to start, how did it pan out in terms of implementation? And this is where sometimes governments set traps for themselves. Because you are now come to take credit, I have done it. And then the implementation process now gives you difficulties. And then the people say, but you said you have done this, and now here where we are even worse off than the time you said you have done it. So why did you take credit? I want to punish you. So sometimes I think that the 120-day thing, sometimes when you don't even critically look at it, you may be setting a trap for yourself. Because as you said, the LI has become a trap for you now. Because now the realities of revoking it has made you believe that if you attempt it, you may cost the state some judgment there. So now you have to find a process. The question is, let's assume that people in the forest, all of them have leases that goes beyond your 4-year term. You will say, I've changed the law, but people will still be mining there because they have a lease. And then when it's voting, what do you expect the voter to say? But your promise has not been fulfilled because people are still mining the forest reserve. So now you come and give excuse and say, but their lease existed before I came to power. But you know that they had a lease before you were making the promise. So you see, I believe that sometimes we have to be careful with the language. We have to be careful with the language of some of these things, how we say it. You see, politicians, one thing they should take note of is that most of the times they have good intentions. But how they communicate it sink in with the people, and the people use the very words that they used in the beginning of those to say against them later. Even though sometimes you can even say what they have even done within the difficulties they tried. But they'll tell you that's not what you told us. This is the words you use. And we are using the same word. Exactly. So you understand. So I think that
it
is not to take credit for what he has promised to. But I am saying that let's use the word start rather than I have fulfilled. Because most of the things that you are supposed to do, they are not fulfillment. You understand it? They are a start of a process until it is fully completed. Then you say, I have done. So I am looking at these things more of how we the language, how we communicate these things so that the public do not turn around tomorrow and come and repeat your own words to you. We're in an age where now everything you say, the internet never forgets. Tomorrow you go and say somebody will come and play back to you about what you said on that day. This is not what you are now telling us. And then they accuse you of excuse to say maybe deceit. But probably you are not deceiving them. It's only maybe the choice of words. So for me, I think that 120 days is a general thing the government in the world will do. But let's always give people, let's manage the expectations. That's the way. Manage the expectations by the kind of words and how we describe some of these things. Because along the process, you may, is it President Mahama suffered this thing where he said he will put his presidency on the line. Today, people still use that word that he said he put his presidency on the line. Still, Galamsey is there. So what did he do? We should even have impeached him. You understand it? Because he's the one who said, I'll put my, but the intention of saying I'll put my presidency on the line does not mean that the Galamsey does not end immediately. I'm resigning. Probably his intention is that I'll do everything possible within my power to be able to fight this. But you didn't say it that way. You said I'll put my presidency on the line. So that is what we will repeat to you. And I think that as we are growing as a democracy, as a people, we should find the importance of communication and how we manage people's expectations with the words that we use.
Thank you. Honorable Van der Poy, you have been in government for 120 days. What's your own assessment?
Thank you. I'd like to say good morning to our viewers and also to my colleague panelists, and say that sitting here as a member of the NDC and under the government, I feel so proud. I will first want to say I'm so proud to have a president who is very candid and who is very principled in his approach to governance. I want to have a president who will want to set a sort of standards and parameters for his appointees than to have a president who will just leave the playground for everyone to do what he wants. And even when they have gone against certain moral boundaries, will be cleared of any wrongdoing before investigative bodies are given the opportunity to even investigate them. Let me say, President Mahama's promises to Ghanaians before his election are bonds that he signed with Ghanaians.
Yeah.
And he's somebody who had lived by his word. I was privileged to have served in his first government, and I know the things he said and the things he did. And today, I have no doubt in my mind that he would hold all of us to the stakes and make sure we respond to the dictates and the limits of our office. His contract with Ghanaians cannot all be executed within 120 days. Every reasonable human being should understand that, for example, if government says, I will end Galamsey, it is not an event. It's a process. And every indication, the color of our rivers have not changed, because they are not going to change in 120 days, no matter what you do. Everyone, including all these CSOs and NGOs involved in the Galamsey fight, have come to the conclusion that if for nothing at all, they've seen a great effort being made. They've seen this fight, this particular fight, being much more an escalation of what we saw some time ago. They've seen a commitment on the part of the head and on the part of the main actor in the game. Erastus Asaredonko himself has concluded that even though it is not perfect, he is impressed with the attitude and the commitment shown so far towards the fight to eliminate Galamsey from our forests. It is not a fight that is going to begin and end 120 days. And President Mahama did not say it anywhere that within 120 days he will end Galamsey. He didn't say it anywhere. I want anyone to put me to test and tell me President Mahama said it at this platform that within 120 days he will end Galamsey. He never said it there. He said he will end Galamsey. So it could be today, tomorrow, 1 year. So what we should expect to do, that the efforts being put in and the sort of commitment that is being shown will be taken over by all of us as a people to end this menace. One of the key areas I heard President Mahama talk about, which to me he has really committed himself to and he has fulfilled, taking a step into it, is when he talked about setting up and organizing educational forum and an economic forum within 120 days. These two activities will change the course of our country. Because when we are able to reform and restructure our educational system very well, then it will open the opportunity for us to be able to bring up the sort of human resource we are looking for that will turn around our economy. Two, we've lived through a situation where we've gone under stress of IMF policies. So he said, I will organize an education forum so that all of us, as a group, as a people, will be able to think and be able to carve out the sort of economic policies that will end us not going back to the IMF and going back to those policies. And these two issues, these two forums have been held. And very good. I was listening to Kofi Asare yesterday, even though my brother was with him, and my brother was not too happy. Kofi Asare yesterday said that as far as those
Kofi Asare offered you watch?
Yes.
Okay, very well.
He said, the sort of conclusions that they've arrived at the forum, which some of them have been started, will end up resolving major problems that have encountered our educational system from primary to tertiary. And I was excited because this is somebody who has been a very, very assured critic of our educational system, not today, under Professor Mills, even he started under President Kufuor, and President Mills, President Mahama, President Ronaldo, and back to President Mahama. Consistently, he has pointed out some of the issues, and he got the opportunity to sit there and said they've even conducted 20,000 surveys. 20,000 respondents have responded to their survey on how to look forward as far as higher education was concerned. So it's not a president who is doing it all. This is a president who is engaging the people, engaging Ghanaians, engaging people, no matter your political affiliation, to be able as a people to carve out what is in the interest of the country. We've had economic forum. For the first time, let me say I'm happy that unlike the Senchi forum, when a certain group of people decided that for their political convenience, they will not be part. This one, everybody, every concerned Ghanaian was there. People from various backgrounds contributed, and at least we've been able to fashion out certain things. Today I sit here, many Ghanaians out there, the president has fulfilled his promises to them. Hasn't he scrapped the e-levy?
Yes.
The betting tax?
Yes.
Emissions levy? So,
what of the COVID?
Look, the COVID, he said the COVID is embedded in the VAT. So there must be a whole law to reform it so that we'll be able to take the COVID out. And he said they have even engaged with the IMF and other multilaterals so that they will be able to carve or take out the COVID without necessarily affecting the policies they're embarking upon. It's a commitment to it. So I'm seeing a president who came to the people with a wish list. And he's been able to transform that list into an evidential document which everybody can testify to. Look, some of the issues that he talked about, you and I know from day one, that, as I said earlier with the Galamsey, are not things that... Look, he talked about ending the infrastructure deficit in our schools. It was a promise he made.
Yeah.
Even if we started building all those schools, we will not be finishing within 120 days.
120 days, sure.
But the most important thing is that he uncapped the GET fund so that it will release funds for infrastructure development in our schools from the basic level to the secondary level and to the tertiary level.
So you'd agree that the nature and form in which the promises are made is sometimes what leaves room for ambiguity and questioning.
If I say I will buy you a car, does it get, has it got, let me say, a gestation period?
No. But you had a 120-day social contract with us.
Yes, so does it include buying you a car? That's what you must ask yourself. And then if I say I will buy you a car, and I don't say that I will buy you a car within 120 days, why would you want to hold me to buy you a car within 120 days?
But when you include it in your
120-day social contract,
take all the 120-day social contract.
You should have included it in your statement.
Those, if I say I'm going to build a house within 120 days,
then you should build a house within 120 days.
A building starts with a foundation.
Perhaps you have your own technology.
And that technology
because you promised me 120 days.
The building should be like a manor. No, but you drop from
a container house.
So the Chinese, they build the house and they ship it to you.
And you say you will build a brick entire house and not a container house. That is what you want to tell me?
But you say you do it in 120 days.
So the issue is that don't hold yourself to a house. Don't define for me what our house we are talking about.
I'm only asking per
that's the argument he was making yesterday.
No.
That was the argument you were making yesterday.
Let me say this. You see, that's the point we are saying. You said, I will expunge the law that allows this.
The LI 2460.
You said you will do it in one. It's part of the 120-day social contract.
Yes.
So do it. It's a no hanging.
Hasn't it started the process?
No. You did not say I will start the. Look, there are things that you say you will start the process. That's what I'm saying.
Is it the issue with the
there are
language
certain
and
things
form?
there. Look, you see, they are trying to reduce performance to a ticking box, which is hollow and has no meaning, value. Do you understand? That's what you are doing. You are and then you see, politicians try to create what we call a strategic ambiguity in what they are talking, so that they can easily hide under language. Sometimes either it's the legality or whatever to hide under.
Semantics.
I call it strategic political ambiguity. So you say, okay, I will hold a national dialogue. That is, so once you've held a national dialogue, you take a box. It doesn't matter whatever is discussed there. It doesn't matter whether you are going to take that on. It doesn't matter whether you are going to implement. It doesn't matter whether you've held that national dialogue on education and how it will affect education. No. I say I will hold a national dialogue. I've taken the box. You want us to give you that, and that is why almost 90% of those. But then you now say, I will end Galamsey, or I'll expunge the law banning Galamsey. Now you haven't done it, but you say, oh, by the way, I've started the process.
Yeah.
You see, let's hold our own critical analysis here. Does it take a day to expunge a law?
But you knew that. You knew that. When you sent e-levy, you sent e-levy to Parliament.
Hold on.
You knew it didn't take a day. It didn't take a day to expunge e-levy. It didn't take a day to expunge budget tax. But you took it to Parliament. You did it. This one, you knew when Parliament was going to see. You knew you had all the factors, all the variables were known. But you would conveniently wait until Parliament leaves. And then you're not saying, oh, by the way, we'll send it there. And when you send it, what they send there is not to expunge, it's to what? Amend. When you did not promise,
No. You have not been in Parliament before.
No. Parliament, I hope to be there one day.
Really?
Yeah.
It will not happen.
I didn't be a prophet of God.
I'm saying it will not happen because he can't win that seat.
He's God.
I know.
He's God.
I know his place.
He knows. He's God.
I'm not God.
So he knows drama.
But it will not happen.
He's God.
There's no way you can win that seat. So
you are God. Thank you.
It's like you telling me you will be an MP. How can I?
What do you know about that seat? Sister Alex, what do you know about it?
Me? I've worked
for the past 8 years. That seat has been.
Let's not digress.
It's one of the most flip-flop places in the country. So what do you know about it?
Doc, we've turned it. And it will
You just won it once in the last 8 years.
Have you forgotten Alija time? Have you forgotten that? Have you forgotten
flip-flopping seat? That's the only thing.
Listen, Doc.
We've held it consecutively. Alija.
You had it for 8 years. You held it for 8 years. That's it.
Yes, and we've taken over again. So what? I say you will never be.
It's not on the deal. It's not on the deal.
You will never be.
It's not on the deal.
You will never be.
Hold on. Let's not digress. Leave their seat in.
I never knew that you
were looking at a 120-day social contract. Please, Honorable, please wrap up your thoughts on this for me.
If you bumped up or you lump up or you summed all into a that expectation that he will have fulfilled, you yourself from day one know that some of those things are not things that you can just do within 120 days.
But when you were telling us that in what was the thinking?
The president.
We need to understand the rationale behind it.
Did you listen to the president? And did you carefully analyze the things he said? I will end. I will do. I will initiate.
That's why I asked the question about language and form.
I'm saying that you push not. He said he made a social contract on issues, and some of the issues he said, I will do this. I will do this. Which one did he say I will end? The ones he know he can do within 120 days, like scrapping the e-levy and all that. He said it. I will scrap it. I would have an educational forum. I will have an economic forum. And those things have been achieved.
Yeah.
He said, I will end Galamsey. And there's evidence to show that he's taking the necessary steps, commitment to ending Galamsey. So when you get up and you lump all and you say he said he will do this within 120 days, then you are misleading.
I see, just like the doc said, we are taking.
So you tell me
so
on
an issue like Galamsey said it's not an event. Would it have been prudent for him to have given us a timeline? If you're putting,
he didn't give us timeline on Galamsey.
And I'm asking if it would have been prudent for him to do so, because you can't do that within 120 days.
No, and he didn't say he would end it in 120 days.
But you put that in your 120-day social contract. That's where my issue is.
You see, the issue is that are you the one?
Yes.
Are you
the thing is in black and white. The thing is in ink.
And the social contract, what is? I'm not denying it. But I'm saying you yourself should be able to ask yourself.
Which question? What should I ask myself?
Can you end Galamsey 120 days?
But he said he would do it. I'm not the president.
He didn't say that. No, he didn't say that.
He said he would expunge the law. He said yes. He said expunge. He's not expunging. He hasn't expunged.
I didn't start the process.
You are both saying the same.
Yes.
What the argument here? The only difference is that if the president knows that it's not going to be a 120 day, you don't implement it.
You told me that I will expunge the law in 120 days. Then 120 days you've not done it, and you are not saying it's not done in a day. We all know road is not built in a day.
Hold on.
Has it started the process in Parliament?
No.
What do you mean by no?
The process in Parliament is to amend the bill, not to expunge it.
So if you amend the bill and you expunge a class, what does it mean?
But you didn't say you're going to.
You promised a repeal.
Listen.
You promised a repeal.
A repeal doesn't mean the whole bill. If you repeal clauses within the bill, it's still a repeal. Because there may be one significant clause that will have a bearing on all the sub clauses.
Right.
And when you repeal that clause, it's still a repeal. So I don't understand what people are saying.
Should I help him?
You think a repeal means removing the whole bill? The whole bill.
So it's not a repeal. So you will revoke mining in forest reserves.
Yes.
But the bill that was sent to Parliament was not revoking it. That is the difference. The amendment they were seeking in the
amendment
is not to revoke it. That is the difference.
The amendment they are seeking is to take out the clause that gives the president the permission to give people the license to mine in forest reserves. And what are we talking about here?
And what happens to those who are already in the forest mining?
What I'm saying.
And it's because those who are dead, that's why he made the promise.
And so what the president cannot just get up and come in, and you yourself have said it, and say that I've taken up people's licenses. Unless you want to have a situation where the president has authority to just throw away laws that we have done without necessarily going to Parliament. We are not in a revolutionary time. We are in a democratic situation, and the president has said it. He will use processes and law and order to make sure that these things are taken away with, they are ended, and we are free from those scorches. And that is a process he has started. And so I will not be expecting anyone to sit and think that something that somebody could not do in 8 years, President Mahama should be able to do it in 120 days.
Very well. Doc.
Honorable, thank you very much. I'm glad you know my constituency very well. I know you know Sister Ali is very well.
I know Sister Ali.
But if you also know a little bit of the history of Sister Ali is one of the most flip-flopping constituencies.
Doc, that's fine. Leave Sister Ali alone.
No, I will leave Sister Ali. That's my constituency. But the big push you guys are saying you're going to do, can you help with our roads? They're so bad. We produce the best maize in Ghana, but we have the worst road now. So can you help with that for us, please? I beg you. The roads are very bad. Sister Ali, help us. I beg you. Your MP
is already with me.
Thank you.
And we are working on it.
I beg you, please help.
Let's go with the 120
now
days.
Come back to the 120 days. You see, Honorable is trying to help us to deal with some kind of logic that is difficult to follow. At least between the two of us.
You are convinced on the strategic political ambiguity.
Yes, and they are playing words. That's what I'm saying. They want to reduce performance to box ticking. But then even that, it comes to some boxes. They don't know how to take it. They don't want to take it. They have to take it. Every single civil society organization that is in Galamsey says you are failing. You've got an F there so far. You've not even begun to turn the tide.
It is not true.
Call Erastus. Yesterday I was with one of them. Call all of them. They tell you because whatever you are doing is the same thing that the MPP has been doing. Seizing Galamsey, seizing equipment, burning excavators, arresting some people. It's the same thing. What people have said, what you promised, and your language was strong in this one. You said we will expunge the law. We will remove it. You come look two things. Let's say Ghanaians are watching. There was e-levy, and then there's a law permitting voting.
Mining in forest reserves.
You said I will remove e-levy, and when you came, you did that.
Yeah.
The Minister of Finance, first the President went to the State of the Union and says we will remove e-levy.
Yeah.
Your Finance Minister went to Parliament and laid the bill. It's expunged. E-levy is no more there. Now, if you are sending money midnight, there will be no e-levy. You know that. Okay. Then you come to Galamsey.
My monies are free from the clutches of the land.
Thank you. Then you come to Galamsey. You said we will expunge it. We will remove it. But then you don't send a bill to remove it. You send a bill to amend it. Wait a minute. Remove and amend are two different context, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a student of law. Everybody knows it's common. So why do you say I will expunge it? You say you expunge it, you expunge it. You said I will expunge betting tax, you expunge it. But you say I will expunge Galamsey, you don't expunge it. And you say we should give you commendation for what? For what? You didn't do it. You said you would do it, you didn't do it. So, I mean, no matter how you dress it, no matter what the semantics is, no matter how the football jargon you, by the way, my team lost yesterday, badly, Arsenal yesterday.
Oh, well,
yeah, I know you're a good football administrator.
Then we are in the same boat.
Thank you. We lost so bad. Yeah. We lost so bad yesterday. So I had to swallow my
proper performance.
In my team, Real Madrid, and then you go.
In fact, come see. He said, how do you beat them? But they lose to. They lose to. No, but go back to the point. So you didn't do it. My point is that if you get a you cannot.
Nana, you're a law student.
I'm yet to
amendment. Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You've done LLB?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
If there's a law, you can expunge clauses of the law through an amendment. Do you know that?
Yes.
You can expunge clauses, certain clauses of the law, of the whole law, through an amendment, which will never make the law the same.
Yes.
You understand?
So it's the effects.
It's the effects.
But that's not what you promised.
Listen.
You hold on.
So,
let's hear
so the man says,
I will expunge you.
I come to you. I come to you.
You and him are saying the same thing.
Is it both of you are caught in what I'm
Exactly, yeah.
The language
You set the trap and they're both falling into it.
On the program, maybe that is the type I expected journalists like, which aspect of the law will you expunge? Or are you expunging the whole law? You understand? So today, he's taking steps to expunge certain clauses of the law through an amendment. And that one, two people say, we don't understand. You understand? The critical issue in that law is that freedom that the executive have to give people licenses to mine in forest reserves. And as for water bodies, it's a no-no.
No.
Yes, and that is the critical issue the president has talked about, that this is what I'm going to take out. So let's see what will happen after the law has been amended and reviewed in Parliament.
Very well.
And then we can know, we can assess him on that. But if we conclude now that he says he will expunge, so we expect the whole law to be expunged or to be repealed, it's a different thing. Expunge is not the same as repeal. If you are repealing, then you are repealing the whole legislation. You understand me? But expunge, you can take aspects of the law through an amendment.
Right. Very well. Elvis.
This is all the argument here is what I've said. It's about the language.
Exactly.
See, during the campaign, there is huge public outcry that our forests are diminishing. So there should be a complete stop on mining in all our forests.
Remember the call for a state of emergency?
You understand? So there should be complete stop to mining in every forest.
Have you asked whether Nanado respected the call for state of emergency?
But you agreed with that.
But you said, no, President Mahama said he will put emergency. What is the state of emergency?
Is it emergency? What?
President Mahama promised that he will declare state of emergency. Where is it?
Show me where he said it. Show me where he said it.
I can give you voices.
Show me where he said he will declare state of emergency.
I will give you voice on campaign platform.
Yes,
so please, let me just give you.
I will be expecting it from you, New Center.
You see, as I said, if language is, the politicians are careful with their language, all this we are discussing will not be here. The argument at the time was that
I'm very careful with my language.
Maybe.
But the Mama is very careful with his language. He's a communicator.
If what he's doing is what he's not really been careful in that statement. You understand it?
Yeah.
Because the call from all civil society organized society was that how do we allow mining in forests? And therefore every mining in forests must cease. That was the campaign. Then President Mahama promised that the law that permits mining in forest is the 2456, and that if he is elected, he's going to revoke that law. That was the word he used. So the understanding was that to say he will revoke the law.
Now you are not saying he said he will expunge. I
didn't use expunge. He used the law. He said he will revoke the law.
Yeah.
So then the promise of revoke means that the entire law is going to be brought down. Okay. That to say you revoke the law means that there will not be any mining in the forest reserve anymore. But after winning the election, what he has sent to Parliament is not revoking mining in forest reserve. The amendment the president has proposed, which was presented to Parliament, says that from now on, he as president will no longer grant licenses for mining in forest reserve. They are two complete different things.
How?
They are two complete different things. The reason they are two complete different, that's what I gave the premise that during the campaign, the argument and the call was that all mining in forest must cease because we don't understand why they should mine in forest reserves. And then the culprit was found to be that law that permits that to be happening. And then the president promised that when given the opportunity, he will revoke the law and there will be no mining in forest. Now what he's trying to do is saying that me as President Mahama, I will not sign any mining. That's the amendment I'm looking for. But that was not a promise. If we understand the promise, it meant that we were going to ban all mining in forest. That is what he said. Please, listen. Honorable, that is what the president said. Is that what I'm saying? That if politicians will be very calculative and what they are worth, President Mahama would have said on the campaign platform that, well, Akufo-Addo is the one that allows people to be mining in the forest reserves. He has made a law that gives him the president the power to do. Me, if I come, me, Mahama, I will never give any license. If President Mahama said he will not give any license, today nobody will be blaming him.
No, but there's a difference here.
There's a difference here because
people already in the forest mining.
The call was that end it. Stop all those people from mining.
Okay? That's different from when I come, I will not allow.
I will not grant a license.
Exactly.
Because he
said he will not. Has he granted any license?
No, he didn't say that. That's what I'm saying.
The promise was that he will revoke, and that will cover all persons in the mining now.
I'm saying that if the President Mahama has said, he could have even have said that he still got his vote. And said, "Oh, Akufo-Addo is the one that is giving license to people to mine the forest reserve."
So place the blame on him.
If you vote for me, Mahama, when I come, I will not grant any license. Today, we will not be holding him accountable for anything. If you use that language, then everybody knows that the license Akufo-Addo has granted is what is happening. Me, Mahama, I come, I will not grant any license for that. It would have been clear. But he didn't say that.
Hold that thought for me.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. He didn't say that.
Hold that thought for me. Let me take a quick break. And then when we come back, you wrap up the conversation regarding this particular matter. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So much love in the air. What are we looking at?
Thank you guys for joining us for this unforgettable night.
Paw Patrol is on a roll.
It's Max Verstappen in the lead. The megastar is here. Absolutely sensational.
Let's go!
Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Get unbelievable entertainment that is unbelievably easy to own. Get and stay connected to DSTV.
Do you want a healthy smile?
Athletes must protect their smile during athletic activities. Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. Protecting your teeth, gums, lips, and tongue from impacts and blows during sports is essential for preventing injuries and maintaining your oral health. Sports mouth guards are protective devices worn over your teeth and gums to prevent or reduce injuries such as athletic activities such as football, basketball, martial arts, skateboarding, and even non-contact sports like gymnastics. Contact a dental office to learn more about sports dentistry services to keep your smile safe. Bethel Dental Clinic, your partner in sports safety, because your smile deserves protection on and off the field.
Healthy smile.
Poverty makes you do what you otherwise would not do. Wealth makes you live the way you wish to live. But revenge cancels the lines between poverty and riches.
It's either you're saying something progressive, or I'll just tell your wife that I'm carrying your child.
Where is my father?
Now that he's coming closer to the community,
My puppy go forget your own plans, so I go forget my own.
In a world world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensah.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensah.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together.
Grateful that you stayed on with us. This is Breakfast Daily. Quite an interesting conversation in the studio. Elvis, you had the floor before the break. I need you to wrap up your thoughts on this.
At the time that President Mahama said he will revoke, it was something that was happening.
Yes.
That people were mining in forest reserves. And then civil society said, no, this is bad for us because environmental-wise, we cannot allow all our forests to be destroyed. At that time, we were told 10 forest reserves are completely be taken over. Even this one by illegal, but we are talking about legal mining that we license. And people say no. Some of us say we cannot permit legal mining to be taking place in a forest reserve. So the call was to ban legal mining in forest reserves.
Yeah.
President Mahama said when given the chance he will revoke it. See, he didn't say that what is already happening, I cannot just come and revoke it because it is legal. These are leases that have even been passed by Parliament.
Yes.
And that if I come, I will not give additional licenses for mining in forest. If he had said, that's why I was emphasizing on the language. If he had said that if I come, what is already there, I can't do anything because Parliament has to approve these mining leases. So it has been done already. If I come as president, as for me, I will not issue any license for any company to go and mine in the forest. It would have been clear. But the complaint at that time was not about his future actions of not issuing additional license. The complaint was that stop what was already happening. So if he promised that he was going to revoke it, the understanding was that he was going to revoke what was already existing. You understand? That's why I'm saying that if politicians want to speak to us as public, if they will look at their language critically and analyze it, if I say it this way, nobody can hold me accountable because it's exactly what I'm going to do. They will have a lot of freedom. But when they make sweeping statements, because it is a campaign platform, when the reality catches up with them, they will realize that sweeping decision, they will now be trying to find ways to navigate it. Because there's no way anybody will tell the President Mahama, who was the president before, did not know that when somebody is legally mining a forest reserve, it meant that the person has gone through every process required, including parliamentary approval, before the person was granted that lease to be able to mine there. There's no way anybody will tell that President Mahama didn't know that. So President Mahama knew that those who are already there, it was going to be difficult for him. But the complaint at the time was not about whether President Mahama, when you come, will you also continue issuing licenses. That was not the complaint. The complaint was that what is happening at the time is bad. So we want it dealt with. And the President Mahama at the time said, if you give me the mandate, I will stop it. I will revoke that law. So that's what I'm saying, that if politicians don't want us to be dragging them the way we always drag them in this country, they should just be mindful of their language and tell us exactly what they will do, rather than giving us sweeping statements, generalized statements, and then they'll come.
The problem and the cry of the people was not just issue of mining. It was about Galamsey, illegal mining.
No, the two first is not about illegal mining. The law that he said he will revoke has nothing to do with illegal mining. It has to do with mining in forest reserves. That has nothing to do with that law. Has nothing to do with illegal mining.
At that time,
I'll come to you and then you wrap up on this conversation.
CSOs,
we'll move on.
CSOs, we all agree. The CSOs call was not just a issue of mining. It was on the issue of illegal mining.
But the president's promise was on what?
Listen, So the president says, when I come, I will make sure that the law that permits people to mine in our forest reserves is revoked. You understand?
Yeah.
And the president has taken bold steps towards a revocation of that particular law. That is the context I want us to look at it. If, since he came, he sat there aloof and he's not taking any step, that is when you can hold him to such a crucifixion. But he's taking a bold step towards expunging that particular law. He's taking the steps towards revoking that law. And actions has also been taken in order to prevent people, illegal miners, from mining in the forest reserves and on our river bodies. We've even set up blue water police and all those things. So what I'm saying here is that can we critically look at what has been done and what is yet to be done in the fight against Galamsey and illegal mining? That is the crux of the matter.
Very well.
But people having licenses, legal and legitimate licenses, it's not just a matter somebody can just get up with a wave of the pen and then revoke those licenses.
Agreed.
There are consequences to that. And so the legal processes must be used in order to take steps to revoke. But for now, he, as president, has said that I'm not going to give any license to anybody to mine in the forest.
Very well. Very well. Doc.
Thank you very much.
In 1 minute, wrap up on this,
by the way,
and then we'll move on to
it's
other matters.
1 and 2 days. How come the president of the republic has not faced Ghanaians and journalists and taken direct questions from them and taking questions from them? Let me finish, please. Here, what is he hiding from? Why is he afraid to take questions from ordinary and Ghanaians?
President is not an adult. He's not scared to meet people.
Honorable, please.
It's 120 days. He's not done that. I would have expected that by now, at least he will face Ghanaians. He will take questions from the media. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe we should give a shout out to the.
When did Nado do his?
Complications and others.
When did Nado do his?
I like this revisionist roller coaster explanations that Honorable is giving about what he says. I like it. It's good because he's trying to put context. He's trying to say things. Meanwhile, listen. Here's social contract number 19. Ban illegal and new mine activities in forest reserves.
But I have an issue with that. How do you ban something that is illegal?
He wrote it.
It's a ban illegal.
But he wrote it. So why did he write it? You see, that's the point. You go and write something. See, that's what I'm saying. Ghanaians, listen. Politicians like to deceive sometimes. And secondly, they like to engage in some amount of deception using ways and certain. And this is what is happening here. So he says, I will ban something that is already illegal.
Yes.
Meanwhile, what is illegal?
Because your government has permitted it.
Please, this
thing is illegal, but your government has permitted it.
Let me also talk to
the thing is illegal, but your government has permitted it.
So you see, that's what I'm saying. That so you can understand. So that is why I'm saying they've now reduced performance to a ticket box. Oh, we said we'll ban illegal. Well, what does that even mean? I don't know, but they've done it. And you say, oh, clap for me because I have banned illegal. Illegal was illegal and I've made it legal. I don't know what that means. It's kind of logic and it's a confusing logic. But that's what he has done. Anyway,
wrap up and let's make progress.
There's something that I want to move something
30 seconds.
Number 26. The president promised that carry out the shake up all laws making SOEs and realign them.
Yes.
SOEs are one of the things that are dragging this economy. Please. As we are speaking, more than 60% of SOEs do not have board of directors. More than 60% of SOEs do not have board of directors. You have CEOs and you have managing directors there that are running the show. Some of them, they cannot make some of the most difficult decisions. They cannot make some of the most important decisions. They cannot because there is no board of directors. And by the laws, they cannot.
So you expect the president to have brought a completion to everything.
You said you will set up the government, and this is
20 days.
This is what I'm saying.
You could not do it in 8 years.
This is what I'm saying. This is the point. When you say government, we always have this myopic idea of government as just ministers, deputy ministers, and the chief of staff. No. SOEs and CCs are part of the bureaucracy.
Yes.
They are part of the national, and they are part of the government and the governance of this country. So if you go and put ECG, a very critical national officer, now they're struggling with Doomsday here, Doomsday there, Doomsday there. ECG needs to make important decisions to save the energy sector, but they don't have a board of directors. So what happens? For 4 months now, no board of directors. You go to almost all of them, so they cannot make the important decisions to be effective and to be efficient.
Who said
so the problem is that the president is saying that we should clap for them because they've done well. Secondly, for 4 months, you said you are going to set up the most leading efficient government. Our diplomacy and diplomatic efforts are at a standstill because Very few, if any, ambassadors at all have been appointed. Today, issues about trade in the global sense are facing difficult challenges. Governments, today the UK is trying to get a trade deal with America. Governments and diplomats all over the world are trying to negotiate and trying to get a better deal. We don't have, because we don't have ambassadors. I'm saying, Mr. President, you have taken a victory lap on your... Yes, you have taken your victory lap on the 120 days. The governance and the government and the machinery, it's time to work.
Very well.
Go back to work, Mr. President. And by the way, ban illegal mining, expunge the law, and let us free. This Mami water gas you put there cannot do anything that the soldiers couldn't do.
Thank you. One short, just observation.
30 seconds, I beg you.
This 120 days thing all over the world.
Yeah.
Every government take credit. They never talk about the negative that happened in 120 days. All over the world, not only Ghana. So the question is that the 120 days, is it supposed to only to talk about
what I have done,
and then not talk about
what I could do.
The negatives. Not Ghana. I'm not saying Ghana. I'm saying that all over the world. This is what 120 days have been turned into.
That is why
governments use it to praise themselves. Okay,
be able to point out
the things that the government has not done.
Let's make progress. Let's make progress.
Things that happen within the same day. So it is a half accountability. And it's not Ghana, it's all over the world.
All over.
The democratic process, and sometimes when you view it clearly, you realize that they have their own ways. Why will you tell me about only your positive in 120 days, but you will tell me about negative?
Very well.
You are the one governing the country.
The ex-National Signals Bureau boss has issued a letter detailing how the alleged 49 million Ghana cedis was spent. I am not a lawyer, and without any prejudice to the case which is in court, I am wondering, how does giving us a breakdown of how the money was spent absolve you of the alleged crime against you?
Well, in the statement, I didn't even see any link between the 49 million and what the expenditures is put out there.
Yeah.
So I'm actually confused, and I don't know what the statement is supposed to say.
He says he's disclosing the details of these transactions reluctantly, solely to clear his name.
No, the transactions to who? What? Let's get it clear. The man has been accused of using money meant to buy a cybersecurity equipment for his personal gains. That is what the Attorney General has put out there. If you see the charges in court, that is what the Attorney General has filed. Then in his response, he says the NSB has used money to do ABCD. The NSB, as a state institution, spends money. It does expenditure. So if it spends money to do certain things, why are you bringing it to my attention? You are not telling me that the 49 million that you are accused of diverting, that is what has been used for this expenditure. In his statement, he didn't provide any linkage between the accusations against him and the expenses that he is putting out. So I am like, is he putting this out to blackmail the state from prosecuting him or what? Because if you really are going to defend yourself, I was expecting him to say, okay, the money meant to buy this equipment for maybe some exigencies, the decision was taken not to buy the equipment anymore because we needed the money to do A, B, C, D, and we spent it on A, B, C, D. I would have understood that, okay? But he never gave any explanations. If you look at the timeline, the AG said the money for the cybersecurity was spent. It's different from the timeline these monies he said have been given. Because if he says monies were given to Parliamentary Select Committee to work on their law, when was the law passed? The time the law was passed and the time the alleged embezzlement took place are completely two different timelines. So when you look at the statement he released, I was telling a friend, I think this guy has shot himself in the foot. Because what I deduce from it is trying to scare the state from prosecuting him, saying that NSB as a state institution for national security can spend money for anything they think is good for the national state. So if they think that giving money to support the opposition party to do their coalition, according to what he said, at the time was necessary, they did it. It has nothing to do with the accusation leveled against him. Because he has not linked the fact that, okay, the 49 million I'm accused of stealing. We didn't buy the equipment anymore. But we realized that we needed money for ABC, so we diverted the money from him to come and do ABC.
Could the link be with the two accounts which he says are NSB accounts and the money is used for some covert operations which he has given details?
So if you are accused of spending money to buy something, and if indeed you didn't embezzle, you would have told us that the money I am accused of stealing, we took a decision as NS not to use it for that purpose anymore. But then we actually diverted it from that purpose and we use it for ABC. If the statement had said that, I would have said he's putting up some defense.
Right.
But what he put out there did not link the expenditure to that 49 million. And if you look at the breakdown he's giving there, it's far less than the 49 million he's accused of. So clearly, I was telling somebody that if he wants to fight in court of public opinion, he may need to hire a communication consultant to help him. Because this statement that you are putting out there, for me, I don't see the bearing on the case he is facing in court. I don't see the bearing because he has not made any linkages. He has not made any linkages to the accusation, to the expenditure he's talking about. Because the expenditure he's talking about, as I said, for if you look at the time the law was passed, it has nothing, the timeline is different from this thing. And you see, putting out that MPs were giving some money, let Ghanaians stop this thing, which sometimes maybe we have not been transparent with some of this, so the public does not have much information.
If you tell the figures in his statement, it actually sums up to the 49 million.
It doesn't sums up. It doesn't sums up. I tell you it doesn't sums up.
You're sure?
I did it. That's why I'm asking the question. See, when you send a bill to Parliament for them to be passed for you, Parliament will look at their resources and say, okay, we have the money to finance the committee to be able to go and sit in a royal city or somewhere, have time, pay the hotel bill, fill them, give them some per diem to be able to do their work. If Parliament felt like, okay, as an institution at this moment, we don't have a budgetary line for this. So you, the institution that want the bill to be passed, your bill will wait till Parliament finds money. But if you can finance the process and we will fast track and do your work for you, we can do it for you. If you the institution you offer to finance it, I don't see it as bribery because Parliament will have to finance it. They don't have the resources. You too need the law to be passed for you because you think that you needed it urgently. If we feel that Parliament doesn't have the money to do it,
the Parliament will be on break.
You understand?
Call members.
Exactly. You understand it? Yeah. And if you think that they don't have the money, but you want the law and you want to finance the expenditure that is needed for them to be able to go and sit somewhere, work on your law and pass it for you, and you finance, and you go and release that money. You go and release that statement to look as if Parliament is being paid some unwholesome money or some bribe. I don't get it. See, sometimes let's bring clarity on issue and stop creating situations that tarnishes certain images of people. National security can spend money for it. If they felt that President-elect, at the time he was elected, he needed security vehicles. Because he needs to be protected until inauguration. And national security haven't realized that maybe the vehicle the president is at the time are not safe for him because he's not president-elect. Therefore, he needs to be supported and you provide 2 vehicles for the president. That is the duty of a national security apparatus to do. So the expenditure he has released and then the accusation, because the statement has failed to explain to me that the money I'm accused of stealing, it is not stealing. We decided to buy this, but at this point, for exigencies of expenditure and because we didn't have money to do that expenditure, we as NSB took an official decision, which will be backed by documents, that this money should rather be used for purpose A, B, C, D, for which we used it. Then I think that is putting up a defense for himself. Now, what I deduce from this is that let me put something out there that will scare prosecutorial authorities from prosecuting me. If that is the intention, I may be wrong. But if that's the intention, I think that he's got it wrong. Because we are looking for explanations into the 49 million that is supposed to be used to buy an equipment. What happened to that man? That's what the public is yet to know. Since he didn't link that expenditure to this, but only released figures, I don't really understand the purpose of what was released.
Honorable, what do you make of this statement and putting it out there in the public domain?
Let me say it's very unfortunate. And my old classmate, lawyer Thatcher, did not do well. As a lawyer, I think in situations like this, you don't allow such things because this could be one of your defense in court. You've already made even the public, ordinary people who are not lawyers and judges, to virtually dismantle your defense. I thought that he would have been advised to still keep quiet until the case really starts in court, because the case has not really started. Where you'll be asked, cross-examined, and all those things. So it's unfortunate that he allowed his client to make such a statement And like my brother said, I don't want to add to what my brother said. And when you look at the statement, it's so hollow. It's not defensible because the timelines don't work out. And also the excuses and the sort of agencies and institutions he claimed he has financed. Some of the things, you may not even have evidence to back it. If, for example, you say you gave money to Elvis to do ABC, and Elvis comes to me and says, I've not received any money from you, what will you do? What will you do? It will be your word again. Because most of these transactions, national security transactions, are not covered by documents that people will sign. People will do this because of the way they are done.
Yeah.
So I feel sad for the young man, and but that is not the only case. Let me be frank with you. A lot of the cases, the people involved are mentioning names. They are singing like parrots, and the thing becomes like a syndicate, an official thing where people were supposed to gather and plunder. You understand? And so we need to critically sit down. And my question, when I saw this yesterday, I was discussing somebody else. If it is your private business, will you do such things? If those monies were your money, will you use it the way you have used it? But he's also forgotten one thing, that Chachu Chikata was jailed not for corruption, not for stealing, but for misapplication.
Not him alone.
Victor Solomon for misapplication. For misapplication, and not because they stole money. You understand? So even if that money was what he's accused of having, the way he's applied, was it meant to be applied that way? So you are giving yourself up. Look, more recently under Nana Akufo-Addo, Alhaji Osman, Bafo Boni and the rest, they went to jail because they even acquired the materials for national security operation. But because the materials were not used at the time when they were cited for the corruption, they went to jail. You understand? So in such situations, I think exercising some level of quietness, will be better served. Then you can now wait and see what the prosecution really has. Because some of the charges they prefer when they have entered court, when the case has started, may be modified, may be reviewed. And that will give you substantial time to be also able to prepare your defense and defend yourself. I think my brother Tachia has not helped him. And I seriously think that if there is anything more to say, he must hold his peace and allow the case to start.
Thank you, Honorable. Doc, you take us home on this one.
Thank you very much. When His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo left office, he hasn't said much. But one of the few things he said, or I'd like to have said, is that every appointee of his should stay back and face accountability where there is. He says, account for your aid for whatever year stewardship. And that is a good call. And I'm happy with this. I'm ashamed of the country we were where he in particular was. I've heard you say you were maltreated. I'm ashamed of that country. I'm ashamed of the country where the current Attorney General was maltreated by security officers. I'm ashamed of the country where the current Energy Minister was maltreated. In the same way, I'm ashamed of the country where Honorable Ntim Fojo was maltreated, Edison was maltreated. We are better than that. Our democracy has come far. Our rule of law has come far enough. So I am happy that these issues right now are matters of court. A man has been charged. A man is now fighting for his liberty. The right thing will be done, justice will be delivered. I am never going to sit here to assume, pretend I know or I don't know what is happening. I know that he has lawyers, and I think agree, and that whatever that is happening, the lawyers adopt the strategy that they feel is better for them to defend their clients. So again, I'm not competent enough to begin to determine what is done. What I know is that both the Attorney General and now the lawyers are trying to also prosecute this case in the court of our public opinion. That's what they are doing. That's why you are seeing the marathon press conferences and now these releases. At the end of the day, that is the political aspect of this case that you see, eventually to be in a law court. But they are also trying to say that, look, whatever happens,
this is how it's going to be. Because there's always a narrative that is going on. And I've said that. It happened under the NDC, and it happened when MP was in power, and I hope it doesn't happen. Where sometimes you will see even legislators, members of parliament, abandon parliamentary duty, and they go to court to now try to apply some amount of political pressure on judges to rule in their favor. They go to court and they use some amount of political harassment to try to get a ruling. It has happened in the past. It has happened. MPs have gone to the Supreme Court or courts of people to do that. It's despicable and it's wrong. NDC MPs have gone to the courts to try to do that support in the name of supporting their colleagues. It's despicable. It's wrong. Let's not do that. Let's leave the other arm of government. Let this man or woman, anybody that is charged, to go there to fight for their rights, to fight for their liberties. The presumptions of innocence should always be upheld. Nobody, I think even in the NDC, or the people will come and say, if you've done something wrong, we should let it go. No, you were not appointed to go and serve with impunity. You were appointed to serve with laws and the laws of this country. And I'm sure, my prayer is at the end of the day, the right will be done. At the end of the day, justice will be done. That no innocent man should be convicted if he's not guilty, and that no guilty person should be allowed to go free if it's not. Once we do that, we begin to build a country of laws, we begin to build a country of rules, we begin to build a country of fairness, justice, and equity. Those are noble, those are vital, and those are integral values that we need to put into our democracy.
Thank you.
So that we move away from this gangsterism and move to a more civilized, humane society where there's rule of law and justice.
Thank you, Doc. Time is spent, but we have a few messages. I'll read them out and then we can say goodbye for this morning. Master Planner Junior from Kintampo says the 120 days of President Mahama is the worst 120 days of governance in the history of Ghana. Most of the promises can even be achieved by girls prefect in senior high schools. Hey, young one.
Hey, who's this school? Hey, maybe we're gay. Maybe we're gay. Maybe we're gay.
He goes on to say that the president should fix the doomsday storm Galamsey and reduce the price of cement as promised. NDC, blah blah blah. That's Master Planner from Kintampo. Ali Baba from Medina says, God bless His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for his good heart and commitment to safeguard our democracy through due process and honoring most of his campaign promises within the first 120 days. Ghanaians can judge the president's words and not the MPP's words and expectations because they are better, and wishing the president's failure in their hearts. Goes on to say a lot more. That's Ali Baba from. This one says, Nana 24, please ask the former MP in your studio if the AG was also right to conclude that Dubois here is a criminal, and why didn't he wait for the court of law to say that, but rather him to pronounce criminality on the matter before the... I'm not sure where you're going with this, so we'll leave it at that. But gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been good, quite insightful. Dr. Joshua Jebuntie Zato, he is a member of the New Patriotic Party and a senior political science lecturer, University of Ghana.
Please, our roast again.
You didn't add inshallah to it. You should have said inshallah. That's it.
Amen. Hallelujah. He's a drip, the breadables. And look, our roasts are despicable. Do you know that you are a gang?
Thank you.
You love your king.
Doc,
do you know that Sisala is produces the
Elvis.
best maize in the whole world? You know that?
Doc, enough. Thank you. We need to go. Elvis Dako, thank you so much. Nilante Vanderpoy, National Coordinator of DRIP, thank you so much.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Poverty makes you do what you otherwise would not do. Wealth makes let you live the way you wish to live. But revenge cancels the lines between poverty and riches.
It's either you're saying something progressive, or I'll just tell your wife that I'm carrying your child.
Where is my father? Now that he's coming closer to the community, I
My puppy go forget your own plans. So I go figure my own.
Life is a celebration of moments. Big and small.
The sun is scorching, I'm feeling the heat.
With Piva Drink, every moment becomes a refreshing celebration. From the beach to your home, in every corner of your world, Piva Drink adds a burst of refreshment.
Give me Piva cocktail and tangerine.
Celebrate every moment with Piva Drink. Refreshment for every occasion. Piva Drink, a taste you will love.
P for Piva.
This advert is FDA approved.
He says she's everything he wants, but she's breaking him piece by piece. A whole man, abused emotionally, physically, financially, yet still planning a proposal. Is this love or denial? This Friday at 9 p.m., join Chris Carter and her sisters on Sister Sister as they unpack the raw truth behind one man's painful letter and ask, what does love really look like when it hurts?
My girlfriend of 2 years has been abusing me in every way you can imagine, but I can't let her go. I met this lady at a business conference, and the moment she walked past me, she caught my attention. Since that day, she's been the only woman I can see myself with. I've told my parents about her, and I'm even planning to go meet hers. But I'm afraid this abuse will only get worse if we end up together. Ladies, what do I do about your fellow sister? I'm ready to put a ring on it.
Some men actually like that. And I think for the fact that he loves this girl and even wants his children to look like this girl, there are so many factors working in his favor. And the abuse shouldn't be something, it wouldn't be something he can't live with.
If it's my brother, I would do what I can to resist that, because
Why?
I don't think that this woman is going to give you the peace that you need.
His description of the girl, his admittance of love for this woman, and all of that points to the fact that there's a part of him that is enjoying this.
Yeah.
Sister Sister, real stories, real women, real talk. This Friday at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV. Sister Sister is proudly sponsored by Gino. Gino truly cares.
This Friday on Footprints, it's the turn of Kweku Sinti Misa, aka KSM, who shares his own story about his educational journey, his life as an actor, satirist, and talk show host.
Preserve constitution says if you come there even for one day, we are or that day, one day, or that day. But proper college, that is when I realized that I could really speak. You know, because I joined the debating society in 1973. For me now, in my old age, I think the multi-party thing has not done the best for us. And some sort of a union thinking of great minds would have helped Ghana better than what we have now. When I heard that Vibe, there's a new station called Vibe and they're looking for, at that time, they said presenters. I said, okay, then I think I can do talk radio. Almost every single stand-up comedian in Ghana was a university graduate.
Oh, wow.
Because they saw me and they realized, oh, so it's okay to have your master's and still joke. As part of my bragging rights, I changed that image. Cool. And I made comedy an intellectual exercise. Politically correct and Rollins sitting there, his wife, many people from the, what do you call it, diplomatic community.
Yeah, I remember.
Footprints airs every Friday at 7 p.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
We're grateful you stay with us here on Channel 1 TV Breakfast Daily. My name is Philip Nilati. I'm here with
Jifa Katie Akoto. Is an absolute pleasure to always start your mornings with you. Thank you for choosing to stay with us, and we are here to, of course, continue the show right where Nana left off. So you've not missed anything, pretty much. If you're just joining us, log on to our social media handles and send us a message. Stay interactive with us. We'd like to hear from you. You can also reach us on WhatsApp, and the WhatsApp number is 02044470033. Or as I said earlier on, log on to any of our socials and then drop a DM or go into the comment section and leave a comment in the comment section down below.
So like Jifa stated, we have a lot for you. You would want to stay with us here from now to 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. where we're going to wrap up. We have a lot to be bringing you issues within our communities, among other things. But Scriptures of Mama is still on. If you haven't sent in your scripture yet or what you want to write about Mama, please do that now because you have limited time. By tomorrow,
today is Thursday. Oh, that was
tomorrow
fast.
we are done. So make sure that you do it as soon as possible. Choose a scripture that illustrates the inspirational role which your mama has played in your life. Then, in a maximum of 100 words, tell us why you chose it. Send your scripture to 0549 986 996 0549 986 996 with the hashtag. Please make sure that you put the hashtag there, hashtag a scripture for Mama. Include your name, number, and Mama's details. Please make sure that you take note of all these important messages or information that is on your screen before you apply, because if you omit one, then certainly you are out of the competition. It's just interesting that we are supposed to celebrate our Mama in a very grand style. So this is a great opportunity for you and I, though I'm not part of it.
Well, unfortunately,
out there. So make sure that you find a way to celebrate Mama. That is on 11th May.
Yeah,
this
weekend, this Sunday, just this Sunday.
So make sure that you do it as soon as possible so you can celebrate Mama. Yesterday you were saying that sometimes it's just exciting that Mamas, someone will call and say that I heard your name be mentioned on radio, or I heard someone talking about you on TV. It's just amazing that it's done that way. So make sure that you're part of this so that you can cherish and also express your joy for what Mama has done.
And mind you, as Philip said, by tomorrow, entries will be closed. So if you are there procrastinating, saying that, oh, tomorrow is the deadline, I still have time, you may forget. And before you know it, maybe you're going to be part of the top 5 lucky winners that will be walking away with some amazing, amazing gift prizes to celebrate your mom. So take the opportunity and then send your scripture now. I mean now. So it's very simple. Go on to WhatsApp, dial the number 0549 968 996 0549 986 996 and send your scripture. And remember, very importantly, to add the hashtag a scripture for Mama, and very key details as well: your mother's full name, her contact number, and her location, as well as your full name, your contact number, and your location. So if you make it to the top 5, it's easy to reach out to you to redeem your prizes.
Make sure that you do this so we can all celebrate Mama. But Jifa, a lot of things are trending in on the socials today, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, among other things. Or one of the things that is trending, Edubuain is actually trending.
The National Signals Bureau former boss is trending. It's in the trends.
There was a letter addressed to the National Security Coordinator giving some breakdown of the 49 million Ghana cedis that he's alleged to have squandered. The expenditure includes over 9 million paid to ISC holdings as part of the payment for specialized cyber and electronic surveillance system. Over 6 million disbursed to personnel and operations supporting national stability and counter-terrorism, and other charges as well. We have 960,000 and 309,000 provided as allowances to MPs, and on the Defense and Interior Committee, Subsidiary Legislative Committee, respectively, during the passage of the NSB Act and its associated legislative instrument. Interestingly, there is one in there over 5.1 million allegedly paid to the special aid of President-elect for the purchase of high-end vehicles, including Nissan Patrol, 2024 Nissan Patrol vehicle, again, and the 2022 Toyota Land Cruiser. Amazingly, it's in the trends. So it's just giving breakdown of. But what do you make of this story?
Look, I don't know what informed his team or he and his legal team's decision to come up with this as some sort of an explanation to how the money was spent.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, I don't think this was a good one, because if you check the dates and what's the name, what we are talking about, it doesn't tally. So then it raises questions, it's raising eyebrows. People are asking, we are talking about one thing and you're also talking about something completely different.
Someone was arguing that if you tally all the amounts, it doesn't total
Even
to
come,
49. But anyway, that's for the jury out there
Exactly.
to judge, and we are giving you the opportunity out there to also judge for yourself. So this is in the trend. Also, Pope, the conclave is also trending. Expected that by, we don't know when, whether it's going to be today, tomorrow, next 3 days, next 4 days, for the 276th Pope to be elected after the demise of Pope Francis. So what we understand today is that conclave is still in session, and expecting that the 133 cardinals will vote. Yesterday we saw a smoke.
Yeah. We saw a black smoke, yes. It was rather a black smoke. So we are waiting to see a white smoke. Then, of course, we would know that all is said and done, and we would see who the next pope would be.
Yeah. So we are keeping our eyes on and seeing who is going to be the next pope. Is it going to be Pope Peter Texan, Apia Texan from Ghana? That's Cardinal Apia Texan from Ghana, who is going to be the next pope. We are all wishing that at least the Ghanaian is going to pick it and is going to pull the traction to Ghana. But let's see what happens. Maybe today, maybe we don't know which other day is going to be. Another interesting one is the match between PSG and Arsenal. Yesterday, everybody thought that the fact that Partey was back into Arsenal.
But why were they thinking Partey's entrance was going to guarantee a win?
Well, when Partey wasn't part of the team when they played home, I think, when they played home, PSG and Arsenal, PSG scored 1. And social media was buzzing that because the commander himself in the midfield is not there. So that's Partey. So that's how come the Arsenal people couldn't
and we saw him on the field of play yesterday.
He didn't do well?
Oh, well, if you ask me, I won't be able to tell whether he did well or not, because you know my understanding of football, so I can't really tell. But I watched the match again. You know, I told you that these days
you want bits and pieces of it.
So I watched from the second half till the final whistle was blown yesterday. And if you ask me, Arsenal didn't do too bad. I just felt like they could have done better. They missed lots of chances, and I, for one, was rooting for Arsenal.
Really?
Oh, yes, I was rooting for them. Because so before I became a Chelsea fan...
You were in Arsenal?
Yes. But now I'm stuck with Chelsea, so there's no going back. But unfortunately, they lost to PSG, and then they are out.
The Gunners couldn't hold the fourth.
Yes,
they just couldn't hold it. So they just had to let it go.
Better luck next time.
Yesterday, someone will say PSG did Arsenal Zuku.
Yeah.
And as it stands now, it's 3-1 because PSG had already scored 1 before yesterday. They gave it to Arsenal for 2-1. So in the final, it's going to be Inter Milan, and also is PSG is going to face Inter Milan. So let's see how that is going to be.
The football fanatics were telling me yesterday that it looks like all the top teams are out of the league.
Yeah, the Champions League.
Wow, that's sad.
But you know what? Yao Minta We'll be here later on the show to give us all the updates in the world of sports. So make sure that you stay with us and we can entertain ourselves. So, Jifa, that's what we have in trends.
Right.
Interesting things happening every now and then.
Of course. So stay connected with us so that we can catch up with all the trending topics happening on social media and around the world. But we'll be having a performance shortly. But just before that, let's take a look at a video of the day. Wow.
I can fix everything, sir.
I tell you, the science students need to explain to us how this is able to happen, because I don't know what current is running through his mouth that is able to.
What happens when you go in for a cheap electrician.
I know someone who can do it better.
Someone who can do it better. Then you go and take someone who has the lamp holder in his mouth. He puts his switches on and it's on in his mouth. So this is an interesting one just for fun of it and to make you laugh. So that is the video of the day. Right. We have someone to
serenade us into some good music this morning. We have Arabella, who is going to be giving us a beautiful, beautiful performance just before we get into some community conversation. So Ara, let's hear you.
I want to hold you, I want to keep you in my heart. Love the way you hold me down, I want to show you love for life. I want to love you, I want to kiss you. Yes, you're done your dream, I come out here. So come over, baby, come over, come over, come over. Baby, come over, come over, come over. Baby, come over, yeah. Come over, make we spend one more night. You make me feeling lonely, you make me miss you, baby. Hey. Joanna, me want me to me die. Hey. Oh, I ginger put me swam, I'm into minka. Oh, you make me feeling lonely. Come and hold me, baby. Oh, baby day, baby boy. Oh, yeah, me son, I'm eating, oh, yeah, me day. Baby boy, give me that. From me boo, I'm a fro, baby. Baby, baby day. Yeah, me son, I'm eating, oh, yeah, me day. Baby, give me that. From me boo, I'm a fro, so come over, come over. Baby, come over, come over, come over. Baby, come over, come over, come over. Baby, come over. Send me a suit of menu. Shana wants in my coma. Made my coma croachawa. Hey, over to me, Shana. I jam in pen, you're done to so. Yeah. Oh, they may be out here set. When you're with your neighbor, me, oh, they may have for flower no more. Oh, they may be your sabbath no. They are the washing me. Oh, the side of me, pacha. Me show for me, see here. So maybe no mommy watching me. Maybe it's a friend who told. Oh, Gani don't tell me fata. Me penny or pepe me. Me and your baby. Yeah, your and flamenco, Makumesa, into me stand, heartbreaks and rise, Odom and flamenco, Makumakitwepi, and flamenco. Asun something na ye Ojin chama maye chiafa woso neke Ojan soja de anopacho Ojan soria osa dencha metikopom Kontomponi and nada yeah Wako mati cry and funny home Kani datia mi fatao mi penya obepe mi anya obeya mi nyedo bedi enfaminko makumesa into me stand heartbreaks and lies Odom enfaminko makumakitwepi enfaminko Flamenco, Makumesa, into me stand, heartbreaks and lies, Odom and flamenco, Makumakitwepi, and flamenco. Hello everyone, my name is Arabella, and I want you to stay tuned. But you be the one that I'm trusting, boy. But you be the one that I'm choosing, boy. Remember, he said I'm the choosing girl, and you will hold me well. Without you, baby, you know I feel stressed out. Those days we dey hang out. More vibes, baby, when you talk to me. And you promise me along the way when we fall, we go get up. So whenever you need me, call. I'll forever be in love. I'm feeling lonely. Although, so need me chan, I'm in some kind, I'm feeling worried. Although, midday, I'm feeling lonely. Although, so need me chan, I'm in some kind, I'm feeling worried. Although, midday. So baby, I love you. I will never lie to you. So baby, I love you. I will never lie to you. When I cast my mind to the memories, always positive, no bad energy. Your kiss and hearts were the remedies to this love pain I'm feeling. I'm feeling lonely, baby, I'm knocking. Without you, I'm not okay. Your mother, my best friend. Without you, baby, you know I feel stressed out. Those days we dey hang out. My vibes, baby, when you talk to me. And you promise me along the way when we fall, we go get up. So whenever you need me, call. I'll forever be in love, I'm feeling lonely. Although, so need me chan, I'm in tonkan, I'm feeling worried. Although, midday, I'm feeling lonely. Although, so need me chan, I'm in tonkan, I'm feeling worried. Although, midday, so baby, I love you. I'll never lie to you. So baby, I love you. I'll never lie to you. So the last one, it goes by Esawara. When you get to the chorus, whatever that I say, please respond. Those are home. Let's do it. Zoni sikadi ya forget to, ya forget to. You hear sikadi biata benso, biata benso. Am I a buy and lazy? Oh, yen lazy. In the ya munya yesho, munya yesho. Friday night, one day. Many me guess a jelly. Slay queen life, Dabi. Yajanika cranka crasoti. Oh, them. Zoni sikana suwa folia mobidia esewara winisika nansuda proposals esewara Zoni sikana suwa wa mobiaka Ain't ya bre and I love you no esewara Obapa Zobega wa mobidi we si mudia sawara fise abrapa ye boy sikenti na ebre ezemera bifana no to so fisa dasi kani dia dada ni so nisikadi I forget to I just say be I would forget so oda kakresi kakra so nisikana suwa folia mobidia esewara winisika nansuda proposals esewara so nisikana suwa wa mobiaka inti abere and I love you no so nisikadi I forget to ya forget to here sikadi biata benzo biata benzo am I a buy and lazy oh yen lazy inze ya munya yesho munya yesho.
And that's the Arabella for you. I like the last one.
I know.
I love the last one.
Yeah.
Why that lyrics? Why that particular one? I didn't love.
Oh, we are not saying that, but that's what the Gen Zs are saying.
Okay.
Yeah, odoka kresika kakra.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And tomorrow is a Friday.
Yes.
And you are asking, I had a Friday bit.
Yeah, Friday night. Me and my girls. I have this girls called Arabians that we used to hang out. You know, wherever that I go with them. But today was very early, so I couldn't come with them.
Okay, so why are people going on Friday tomorrow?
Friday, we're in town. We're in town. We're in town having fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Your song, like you do your own song and you sing covers as well.
Yes, please.
Tell us about yourself.
Right. So I am Arabella. I'm an Afro High Life. I call myself an Afro High Life artist, and then I'm actually an actress as well.
Okay.
I've been in the industry for quite a number of years now, for 5 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and we are still pushing. I don't know if.
So how many songs of your own do you have?
I have currently I have 8 singles out.
8?
Yes.
Oh, nice. And what of the covers? You sing all covers?
Oh, yes, I do. Like any song that I feel touches me, I just hop on it. I just jump on it and then do it.
What are the kind of songs you do? Like I noticed it's like low tempo songs.
Low tempo.
Is that the kind of songs you do?
Yeah.
Only that?
No, not only that. I'm very versatile. I'm able to do everything. So a song that you listen to is not a low tempo song, but I decided to sing it like this because it's a morning show. So I didn't want to groove it more. People are having their cool time this morning. You can't just come with a lot of noise. So I just had to take it down for them. So I do a lot of low tempo, high tempo. I do everything.
Wow.
Yes. Please.
But when it comes to places you play, where is it? Events or?
Well, events everywhere, concerts, birthday parties, wherever that you need me, please call me.
Which place has been the biggest you've been?
Oh, I've mounted a lot of platforms.
Oh wow! Tell us about it.
A lot of platforms. All the big shows in Ghana. I don't know which one. Maybe VGM is what I've not mounted yet, and that's what we are praying for. That very soon we'll get there.
So, I beg the organizers of Charterhouse, please make sure that you get Arabella on for the VGMA upcoming one, so that she'll put her acts on the ground. Tell us about your inspiration.
Yeah.
What drives you, and how do you get the kind of songs you do?
the environment, the things that are going around us, you know, our daily activities, our daily lives. You see, when you listen to Esawara, that is basically what is happening now. People can't get genuine love because the you know, everybody wants money. The attention is shifted to money. So I'm actually, you know, inspired by the things that I see around me.
Okay.
For instance, we are here. If something, you know, happens and I feel like I can sing about it, I'll just go ahead and use it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's me.
Is music what you do full time, or you do other things aside music?
I do full-time music, but then, you know, the small jobs, it's not. Full-time music is what I'm doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you are not telling us where you are going to be tomorrow, but I'm sure that there'll be people out there.
We'll definitely meet in town. Yeah.
You meet in town.
All the clubs, you see us.
There are people out there who want you on their event,
Yes.
for their event, for their programs and all that. Share with us your socials and where we can find you if we want you, so that we can book you for more events.
Right. So,
Especially Chatterhouse.
right. So on all social media platforms, the name is Arabella Ghana. On all social media platforms, the name is Arabella Ghana. Arabella Ghana on IG, on TikTok, on X, everywhere. Facebook, you'll get me everywhere. Arabella Ghana. It's not GH, Arabella Ghana. Ghana as in GHANA. Arabella Ghana. And when you want to stream my music, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, on all DSPs. The name is Arabella. Arabella. Ara space Bella. So that's the name.
So that is Arabella for you. She's going to serenade you whenever you invite her for your event, and make sure that you get her for that event, that program you are planning, and she's giving you all her socials that you can get in touch with her. This is still Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. We'll be moving into our community soon after this break.
Welcome. It's Play to 8.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to 8, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Football. Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, play to 8. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese. Play to 8 every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to 8 game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
He says she's everything he wants, but she's breaking him piece by piece. A whole man, abused emotionally, physically, financially, yet still planning a proposal. Is this love or denial? This Friday at 9 p.m., join Chris Carter and her sisters on Sister Sister as they unpack the raw truth behind one man's painful letter and ask, what does love really look like when it hurts?
My girlfriend of 2 years has been abusing me in every way you can imagine, but I can't let her go. I met this lady at a business conference, and the moment she walked past me, she caught my attention. Since that day, she's been the only woman I can see myself with. I've told my parents about her, and I'm even planning to go meet hers. But I'm afraid this abuse will only get worse if we end up together. Ladies, what do I do about your fellow sister? I'm ready to put a ring on it.
Some men actually like that. And I think for the fact that he loves this girl and even wants his children to look like this girl, there are so many factors working in his favor. And the abuse shouldn't be something, it wouldn't be something he can't live with.
If it's my brother, I would do what I can to resist that, because
Why?
I don't think that this woman is going to give you the peace that you need.
His description of the girl, his admittance of love for this woman, and all of that points to the fact that there's a part of him that is enjoying this.
Yeah.
Sister, real stories, real women, real talk. This Friday at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV. Sister is proudly sponsored by Gino. Gino truly cares.
We are grateful you stay with us here on Breakfast Daily. It's time for us to move into our communities now. This week has been an interesting one. We've had good results. We started with the Galamsey and also the water issue in the is it Bono region, and also another one too in the Ashanti region. Good. There's the Mwase Tanoso issue, and we had the authorities saying that, look, we are going to fix the problem. We had a water specialist from World Vision who says, look, we are going to fix it. We are going to get it on our table and make sure that the people that get quality water or safe drinking water. Yesterday, we did the health issue up north again, or in the northern part of the country, where St. Anne Catholic Hospital, we spoke to the regional minister for the Savannah region, Salisu B. Awurebi, who says that they are going to take action to get it addressed. We are moving from the water situation and also the health situation, though we will bring it back at a point, but we are going to roads. Very important, because we can't stay in a community where we have deplorable roads. Every time it's holiday and I'm driving to work, I'm excited because there isn't traffic. And you can less people on the road.
Get to work in the shortest possible time.
And just have this at the back of your mind that you are battling with traffic.
Yeah.
That is gridlock. And your roads are bad from your area before you get to the main road. No. You can't keep battling with that. So it makes life very difficult when you have deplorable roads and also you are stuck in traffic for a very long time.
The issues of roads affect our day-to-day activities largely, because even from, your health, because imagine driving or transporting yourself on a deplorable road. For some reasons, maybe you are traveling for a business, or let me just use our market traders, for example, when they are going outside Accra to bring goods from all sorts of, all the other regions to bring down here to sell, they travel long distances, sitting in cars for hours on very terrible roads. They come back complaining of waist pain, backache, swelling feet, amongst other things. The stress that it puts you through mentally and all of that is not spoken about. Then the effect on the drivers and their vehicles, maintenance, cost of spare parts, and all of that. Look, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot.
Let's bring you a report from Afiaman. Afiaman residents in Accra here, they are suffering because of the bad nature of their roads. Sarah Apia from the City News filed this report.
For residents of Afiaman, rainfall brings more distress than relief. The deplorable condition of their road turns daily commuting into a difficult ordeal. Many residents told Channel 1 News they feel abandoned by successive governments who have failed to fix the road. Patricia Ofosusapon, a resident and trader, says each downpour floods her home with red mud, making life unbearable.
Since you also Antona say in Futroka say, "Wa, can't never fast wa. Futro bebo, but transfitano pa. Because I asanya, and I said that they are pitegu. Say, a duano pana say, would jarren out the Ibia. A you assume and I say, a you winima. In Futro be hunu. And yet,
Even on dry days, the community is plagued by clouds of dust. For food vendors like Helena Kobina, the dust drives away customers and poses health risks.
Cause of dust, no. Do a better na dust, no cast, no chum, so move foot rope, especially I can see no. In a dian say ton, so foot road to come home complain, say, foot no doors.
Drivers also suffer the consequences of the untarred road, which is riddled with potholes and uneven surfaces. Many say they are forced to spend significant sums on vehicle repairs. They question the point of paying taxes when basic infrastructure remains unattended.
We plant nipa nam so pa ye tiato aba ya bre o mama ya bre nse kwanam nso baba ya ma o meye man ye wa ne ye ho kire ye wa pa wo da wa hwe so to kakra bi o hwe ne kwan ye aso de bi na kwan so twa income tax etwa insurance etwa road wedding it's any man etwa na fa so be no so fa so ni so
wo be sisan ends what is some break bands o time so be say eti e kanu de bebre mama wo ze cars ni bebre asese si kwan so ni nyina ye kwan no enye no.
Homes and businesses along the road, including the palace of the chief of Afiama, Ni Afia III, are coated in red dust. While Channel 1 News was on its way to interview the chief, we met Richard, a resident who has lost hope in seeing the road ever fixed.
This road, it won't go anywhere. It won't go anywhere, whether MPP and DC. They won't fix it. We've had demonstration more than 5-6 times on this road, but it's still safe.
The chief of Afiaman, Ni Afia III, described the government's unfulfilled promises as disheartening and called for immediate intervention.
When the previous government was there, we went to Usenim, and he was the MP for this area. We went and delivered our grievances to him about the roads, and they made us aware that the government has approved the road for us and they are on it. But for almost 4 years of we met, there's nothing done about it. We are praying that this current government will come into our aid to rectify or complete our road for us.
Pregnant women in particular are at great risk when using the road during labor. Daniel Kwame Simpri shared his harrowing experience of transporting his wife on the rough terrain during childbirth.
She was pregnant, so I have to take her to the hospital at Ofanko barrier. In fact, it was very terrible because it was during the rainy season time. The road, I tell you, it's just like, I don't know how to describe it. Manhole or pothole or whatever who.
So this is the nature of the road at Afiama in the Greater Accra region. But let's go to Kamvilikpomo in the northern region and bring you a very deplorable, or a report on a very deplorable road there.
Heavy downpour in Tamale have exposed the fragility of infrastructure in the Kamvilikpomo area. A section of the main access road, constructed just 2 months ago, has been washed away, leaving residents worried about accessibility and safety. The rains have also overwhelmed poorly constructed drainage systems, which locals describe as inadequate for managing stormwater. According to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, this year's rainy season is expected to begin early and bring more intense rainfall, deepening fears of flooding and isolation among residents.
When we saw this road, we were happy, actually. But unfortunately, just the last 2 rains that came, we realized that there were so many problems with the road. One of it is that the bridges are very low and very narrow, and the water couldn't pass. So part of it has been washed, part of the road has been washed off.
In fact, this road made life easy for us these days, but now it's coming to rain, and this rain too has just come. It has distracted everything.
One resident who declined to be named was seen relocating her belongings, citing the deteriorating road and the absence of alternative routes.
When it rains, it gets worse than this actually. The children even swim. They do diving competition over here. It's that bad. And then we had the rain takes away like all the stuff. As you can tell, it's very bad. That's why I'm leaving, because you can't move. in or out. Down there, it gets worse. It's more marsh down there.
Mothers in the area expressed deep concern about the safety of their children, particularly the dangers posed by open drains and fast-moving waters.
I have a daughter who is just 4 years old. She going through and seeing all this is heartbreaking. One time ago, the water nearly even took us away because this is the only place I have in Tamale. So imagine it rains like this and the road is this bad. How do I get home? So really plead that they come and do something for us.
It's not easy. Where your mind will not be settled until you know that your children are home safely, because water and life is not smart. And you know, children, when they see water like they want to enter and see.
Last year, if you had come here, you would be really surprised how, especially the main bridge there, the water was able to cover the whole bridge, and then people could not cross from this side to the other side. However, this is the only main road for the residents of this area. So the other road to the other junction is very bad, very poor.
Calls are growing for authorities to construct a more efficient drainage system, especially around the Gariba Lodge area.
You can see how it enters people's houses. For that place there, all the time that it rains, heavy rain, unless they pack and go out before they come out. So we are facing a lot of problem here.
So that is Kanvili Paumo in the Tamale North constituency of the Northern region. This is a very bizarre situation. We are having on the lines the MP for the area, that is Tamale North, and also Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways, Al-Hassan Suinin. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you are doing well.
Alhamdulillah, I'm terrific. Thank you very much, and good morning to your viewers.
Thank you for joining us on this show. First of all, have you seen this Kanvili Paumo road in recent times?
Yes, I try to be in my constituency every other week, so I am aware of the nature of that road.
What we have seen on TV is that the road is deplorable. That is what we can see. But in your words, how can you, or be the description you give to this road?
Well, I think it's worse than deplorable. It is something that has been of concern to me since 2015. It is a reason why I convened the NDC at the time, even before I became a member of parliament, to prioritize the construction of that stretch of roads. And as a result, it was put on the enhanced road project that the government was embarking on at the time. And we decided to start dealing with the community roads using the third ring road as a point of opening up the area to enable us to improve the road infrastructure in the whole area. Unfortunately, that project was suspended after the NDC lost power, and it took a lot of back and forth, including questions on the floor of Parliament and engagements that are facilitated between the traditional leaders in the area and the then road minister for portions of the road to be re-awarded to a new contractor. Unfortunately, that contractor over the last 8 years have performed very poorly, very, very poorly. And as a result, as Member of Parliament and now Deputy Minister of Roads, we, ensured that after a stock taking of the roads across the country, including that one, that some of these contractors that have not performed very well had their jobs, terminated. And we are currently undergoing a process of repackaging them and re-awarding them to contractors that we believe have the capacity and the commitment to finish them.
Honorable, we understand the road was constructed some 2 months ago, but 2 months down the line, the road is almost as though it wasn't even done. What went wrong?
Clearly, like I said, the contractor performance has been very deplorable. I mean, what happened was that for a job that should have lasted less than 2 years, it took the contractor over 8 years, and he did it very, very, intermittently. And I think he had done the first sealing, and unfortunately, he did it not for any commitment, and it's shoddy work. That is what it is. It's shoddy work that happened.
Interesting.
There is a drain attached to this road. What is the plan for the drain, or is it in the entire repackaging or restructuring you are going to put up on that road?
Yes, it's all part of the considerations that we are making. The last time the minister and myself, together with the technical directors, were in town, we stopped at the Garba Lodge to look at the main drain that takes a chunk of the water from almost the entire Greater Tamale, and that usually spills over to cause the destruction that you see in the Kamlik-Paumo area. So apart from doing the roads, there is also the intention to work on the drains as well, especially the major storm drain from the Garba Lodge area all the way to Taha.
Honorable, also in the report we watched, which was filed by our reporter, one of the residents mentioned that she and her little 4-year-old girl almost drowned one of the days when there was heavy downpour. Now, while communications or talks are ongoing to have the road fixed and situations fixed, in the interim, what are the plans for the residents and the constituents?
Well, we thank God that their lives were spared. I do know that somewhere in 2018, 2019, unfortunately, that same drain claimed the life of a young woman who was one of the celebrated teachers in the region. She happened to be the schoolmate or classmate of the then vice president, and I recall even at her funeral, the then vice president promised to ensure that the drain was fixed. Unfortunately, I think it could not materialize. So we thank God that the life of this young mother and the child were saved. So it is a threat that is real. And what I know the Works and Housing Ministry is also doing in the interim is to distill some of those drains. The minister understands it's even in the region currently. And I'm sure that, his attention, I have drawn his attention to it already. I'm sure that if he finds time, he may also even look at it. So we, on our part, are also going to undertake a number of maintenance works this year, and regraveling, reshaping, and some of these drains will also be considered for desilting.
So as talks are ongoing, and also with the regraveling and the reshaping and all that, is there any timeline attached to this?
What I can assure the people of Kamlik-Paumo is that I am as sleepless over that matter as they are, and whatever we can do within our capacity to bring relief to them and to improve the economic viability of the community, we will do within the very, very shortest possible time.
All right, Honorable, also we understand that largely parts of Kanvili is a flood-prone or are flood-prone areas. Now, the rains are here. People are going to be suffering from the rains and the aftermath and all of that. What is the engineering conversation, or what is going to be done in the long run so that after the road and the drain is constructed, the areas that are flood prone will not be affected or will not be experiencing flood when the rains come down heavily?
Yes, our faith-based people will tell you that, let me say the literature people will tell you Rome was not built in a day. But faith-based people will tell you that even God did not create the world in one day. He did that in a number of days. And so the plans to improve the community is being worked on, and we cannot do that before the rainy season, unfortunately. We cannot solve the problems that people have been faced with over the years within this period that we have just taken over. But what I am assuring them is that with God on our side, with their support and prayers, within the very shortest possible time, and with the opportunity that we have now, we will make sure that we use that opportunity to improve the situation and to resolve the problem so that we can all get out of this problem. But I have to be very realistic to say that we cannot do, tremendous transformation before this impending rainy season. But whatever ameliorative measures that we have already been using over the years to limit the impact of the floods, we will do that. In fact, it's not only Kamveli. Gumani is even most affected when the floods come in, because sometimes it washes from Kamveli into Gumani. So it affects and causes destruction in Kamveli, and then it collects at Gumani and causes more destruction. Then sometimes it moves towards the Fo area, towards the Taha area, even cutting off roads there. I mean, so these are things we are aware of, and by God's grace, with the opportunity that we have, we'll try and resolve the problem.
Your constituents are watching. Are there other roads within your constituency that you will pay attention to as the Deputy Roads Minister and the Member of Parliament for the area?
Well, I can assure them that His Excellency President Mahama, together with my minister, are prioritizing some of the very key roads in the greater Tamale area, not only in my constituency. So you would have heard the minister speak of the outer ring roads that are considered to be done across the country. Tamale is going to benefit from the phase 1. And we have, the third ring road in sharp focus. We are going to do asphaltic overlay, a dual carriage road from, if you like, the Viting barrier all the way through to Boyle, otherwise known as Medina, through to Kamveli, Paumo, then to Kamveli, to Naile, then to Kamveli, then to Jisonaile, all the way to Gurugu. And it is going to be advertised in the next few days, either by tomorrow or Monday. You will see the adverts in the dailies, and this will ensure that we improve the road network, not just in my constituency, but in the greater Tamale. But yes, my constituency is one of the constituencies that will benefit greatly from this work. We also intend to complete the second ring road, and so we are going to take it from the Snit Flats Junction all the way to the Agric traffic light. People who know that area know how important that road is also to the motoring public. We also intend to do some rehabilitation of the Ward K road. We will do the Kamveli roads, the inner community roads are also going to be advertised by next week. We'll do the full Balahi main road, the road that leads to the only landfill site in Tamale. We will be advertising that also in the coming days. We also ensure that the Jena, Balahi to Jena road is also going to be advertised for consideration. So the greater Tamale will benefit from the big push infrastructure project that His Excellency President Mahama is championing. And we all just pray that we will continue to enjoy the support and prayers of the very good people of the Tamale metropolis.
It's obvious that the greater Tamale is going to benefit from the road project. One key thing is shoddy work, and what we have seen and you have termed that for 2 months ago that the road was constructed, that is the Kamveli one, has gone bad. What are the measures you are going to put in place to ensure that road contractors that will be giving or awarded these contracts will do a good job?
There will be strict compliance, and my minister is a no-nonsense man, and he will not tolerate any shoddy work from any contractor, and he has been sending out the warning to all contractors who will be taking up jobs at the ministry.
So with that, any contractor who do not match up with the quality or the standards, what happens to him or her?
Well, the contract will simply be terminated, and other remedial measures, if available in the contract terms, will be activated.
And finally, from you, your constituents are watching. Final words from you to them concerning the roads and this particular road.
I just want to thank them for their continuous support and prayers, and I hope and pray that we will both, that is, those of us on the government side and those of them who are expecting us to deliver to their satisfaction, will cultivate patience with each other, and within the very shortest possible time, I'm sure that they will begin to see the impact that some of our interventions will make in their lives and in our communities.
Thank you so much, sir. Honorable Al-Hassan Suini is the MP for Tamale North and also the Deputy Roads and Highways Minister. He spoke to us extensively on the road condition in the Tamale North constituency. Went on to talk about the greater Tamale proper, because we are touching on the Kanvili Pawumo road, which is very deplorable. We understand just within 2 months of its construction has gone bad, and this tells you that if measures are not put in place to check what contractors are doing, you would have a lot of roads going bad. Recently, the roads minister spoke at an event at Ghana Institution of Surveyors, and he made mention that we are hinting to paying about 100 billion Ghana cedis just for road contractors. Yes, because we owe them 20 billion Ghana cedis already. And also, in terms of interest on delayed payment, we are getting close to like 60 billion for roads that we are not seeing. But our regional correspondent, Northern Regional Correspondent, the lady who filed this report, is joining us. Shawana Yusuf, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Philip.
I trust you are doing well.
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
We are also doing well. You visited this place, the Kanvili area, to file this report. What more can you tell us about this road? Because from where we sit, we will see it on our screens and we will see the videos. But narrate or describe the road proper for us.
Okay, thank you, Philip. Before, let's say some 3 months ago, this road was actually non-existent. It was just a dusty road that contractors were on site trying to fix even before the December general elections. And after the election, work stalled and until they resumed some 2 months ago and then finished it up. But the issue is that the people in the area actually saw this as a welcoming thing for them, because having the only access road to their area tarred, and some drains being constructed for them, they thought was a good thing, and it will relieve them of their previous sufferings, most especially during the rainy season. Apparently, it was nothing to write home about, because just with the second rain, and everything was exposed. Like Honorable rightly mentioned, the shoddy nature of the work was exposed, because a road that has been tarred for just less than 2 months, let's even say 2 months, and with just second rainfall, the road is already washing off. The bridges are breaking. The storm drains, all the structures putting everything together is breaking off. That actually is an issue for concern, and that actually broke the hearts of residents in the community. Fortunately, the very day I went there to file this particular report, I met a lady who had packed her whole belongings in her room. You could see her sofa, you could see her bed, and everything at the back of a pickup truck, and then they were just driving through. She spoke to me, but on condition of anonymity. This is just the residents who stayed there for less than a year. And last year, because we didn't really experience heavy rainfalls, I think it didn't really expose most of these things. But those who have stayed long in the area tells us that this has been the norm even before the coming into existence of the road, and they've been suffering. It used to even be more than this. The road didn't even come to make anything better. It rather came to worsen their plight. You could see somebody's plot over there was flooded, and this same flood was now getting into the homes of residents living close to this drain, because it couldn't get the right route to flow through. So, I mean, if you go to Kanvili, Pawumo, and a lot of other areas within the Tamale North constituency, and also Sanarugu area, it's actually a serious issue when it comes to lack of drainage, lack of proper road network, and the sufferings of citizens who live in these particular area who have been calling for help for only God knows how long. They are looking forward to a favorable response within this Mahama administration, most especially having their Member of Parliament, Honorable Soyini, being the Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways. Philip, let me take you back to the Garba Lodge storm drain. That is a big storm drain that we have in Tamale. It is one of the popular storm drains we have in Tamale because it claimed the life of a very respected Hajia some 7 years ago. And there were promises in the previous administration to ensure that they actually work on this storm drain and put it into good shape. This was just an innocent mother who was driving to go pick her ward from school on a rainy day. And unfortunately, when she got there, the place was flooded to the extent that the flood carried her vehicle along and she was stuck in the middle of the water with no help coming. And that was how Asia lost her life to this particular disturbing incident. And what community members are scared of is this. If you have a storm drain that is as big as, let's say, 3 storm drains or 4, 5 storm drains put together at Gariba Lodge, and this is the same water that flows through Gariba Lodge to Kanvili Pawumo, and you come and give us just 1 storm drain to contain the flows that is coming from Gariba Lodge, it is highly impossible. I am not a technical person, but from a layman's perspective, it is not possible to pour, say, something that is running through 4 storm drains and expect it to go through just 1. This has been the concerns that were expressed by residents when we visited their community. They are calling for an urgent intervention before the rain sets in seriously. Meteo is already telling us that this year we should expect heavy rainfalls, and their fear is that if nothing is done before then the sufferings they experienced in the past is most likely to double or even quadruple in the coming days should the rain set in full gear.
Shawana, you spoke about flooding in Kanvili and some parts of the northern region. When you engaged with some of the constituents, did you find out about how they were able to, or how they deal with the floods when they come? Because especially for those who have lived there for so many years, say 7, 6, 5 years and all of that, how do they deal and handle with the floods?
Okay, so for some of them, they just don't have an option. If you have anywhere to move to, you have to move to before the rain sets in. But most of these people tell us that that is just the house they have. It is the only place they have as their home. And if the rains are coming, and even I know the floods would come, if you tell me to move to higher grounds, I don't have anywhere like higher grounds to go to. So for some, they stay in this particular situation until the rainy season is over. Others would also, who have the opportunity to maybe go join family members, also do that. But for those who don't, they stay in there. The place gets flooded. They scoop the water out and continue living their life. It's an everyday thing for them. They don't seem to get any hope coming soon. So they are trying to adjust to the situation, which shouldn't have been the case. But for most of them, they don't have nowhere to go. This is where they call home. And this is like the young lady who said the water nearly carried herself and the 4-year-old child last year or 2. She tells us this is the only home she has. She doesn't even know anybody here. It is work that brought her to Tamale. This is the only place she calls home. This is the only place she can go to sleep and wake up the next day, get to go to work and do that day in, day out. And you're telling me to move to higher grounds. I don't have any other place to go. So for those who have nowhere to go, they stay in the situation just as it is, cope with it until the rainy seasons are over. And for those who have options, which is usually not the case, they move to places where they think they can find refuge and return when the rains are over.
Now, Shawana, what's the occupation of the people living in Kamvili? I'm asking this because I would like to find out how the rains and the flood affect their businesses in general.
Well, so these are the Kamvili community, Kamvili Paumo community specifically. I spoke to most of them who are farmers. Some of them tell me they are farmers. You can even see some of the farmlands very close to this area where we recorded the issue of flooding. And there are other people who are business people. Others are also teachers. I mean, so we have varied people with varied occupation living in this particular area.
The Kamvili Paumo Road, it connects which areas? So, which connecting or driving on the stretch, you're moving from one location to another location. Which areas does the road connect?
Great. So Kamvili Paumo stretch takes you to Kapohene. It can lead you to Fo. It can lead you to Taha. It can lead you to Kamvili. So if you are mentioning, we have an area specifically called Kamvili, but this particular one is Kamvili Paumo. But there is a link road between Kamvili Paumo to Kamvili. So there is also the route that goes through Paumo all the way to Kamvili, and to Taha, to Fo, to Kapohene, to Snit, and in that order. And this particular area is not too far from Fo and Taha, where the Honorable Deputy Minister mentioned that they also face this issue of floods. And I think that's where his residency is. And they are hoping that so far as he finds himself in this particular office of the Roads Ministry, something will be done about their condition.
Do you find heavy-duty vehicles using the stretch?
Philip, the stretch is not good. If this stretch was really good, it makes commuting from one end to the other very easy. So like the minister mentioned,
we'll reconnect to Shawana. You see, who is our Northern Regional correspondent, telling us what is happening with the
link. Okay, this particular road was really good. If the road was really good, commuting from one end of town to the other would have been easier. People who even want to go to Bolga would not necessarily have to go through town where there is always traffic. They could have used all these link roads, and then they are on the Bogatanga highway from Kamina onwards, and it makes the journey very easy. I think they should be taking a very critical look at some of these things.
Interesting.
Right. Shawana, thank you so much. We hope that you keep an eye on this issue, and then whenever there's an update, you bring us up to speed on that. Thank you so much for speaking with us. So that was our Northern Regional correspondent, Shawana Yusuf, who filed the report, actually bringing us all the little details that we may have missed in the reports on the state of the Kamvili Bauna Road in the Tamale North Metropolis. Philip, it's
interesting one. I'm just praying that now that the MP for the area, Al-Hassan Suhini, has been given that mandate to be the Deputy Roads Minister. Someone would say that charity begins at home, so you have to watch your home, so you have to take something back home.
They'll really be looking forward to him for some improvement in the area. You know, I feel the plight of people when their homes get flooded. I experienced it once, and mine was not even by virtue of the fact that rain like there was an overflow of rain rush into my room, but I forgot to close my window and I had rainwater entering. Look, it was terrible. It was such a terrible experience for me.
Just to think of maybe a whole house.
Yes. So imagine, after that experience, look, I appreciate the issues of flooding even much better because I've lived the experience, and it's nothing to, I don't know, feel good about. So to think that people have lived there for 5 years and over, and every time the rainy season comes, they have no option than to stay and scoop the rainwater out of their rooms and then try to find. Look, it's not a very pleasant experience.
One of the interviewees, and Shawana was also talking about, is that she came there for work. If not for that, she wouldn't have been in that area. So if the authorities, I like the spirit of the Deputy roads minister, that they've taken note of it, and they've taken note of other roads in his constituency, and for the greater Tamale area they are trying to also fix roads. I think it's very important because if these things are done, like Shawana was also saying, you wouldn't use the stretch that is traffic prone. You would use inner roads and try and bypass the traffic and all that.
To even make your journey shorter.
Very short. Travel time is very important because if you, like I was saying earlier, if you stay in gridlock for a very long time, it affects your productivity at work. You get to work and you are actually tired because you've been in traffic for a very long time. Coupled with the fact that you are driving on a bumpy road or a very deplorable road. So I think if the deputy roads minister, that is the MP for the area, really wants to deal with this, he has to deal with it as soon as possible. I believe it will be done with the big push from the current administration, and we are expecting that by the end of the day, it should be done. The roads in that area should be done. If I were the MP, I would have done it.
I
would have done it because you see, I'm in Parliament because of my constituents. If my constituents vote against me, I won't be here to be a deputy roads minister. So everything I need to do for my people back, I will.
Well, Philip, he has assured them and he's giving them their word. So let's just give him the time, and then most definitely we'll keep an eye on it to make sure that we hold him accountable to his words.
And they should try that the contractors won't do a shoddy work.
That is also another conversation to have. That's also another conversation because we see contracts awarded to contractors and then 2 months, 3 months, or even a year, and you're seeing potholes even bigger than when the road was not even constructed. And you're asking, how was the work done? Wasn't there any sort of supervision when the construction was ongoing? We need to do better as a country, you know. Anyway, still on roads, we are going back to Afiaiman. We brought you a report early on, and they are also suffering, or their plight are also in the state of the bad roads, the nature of the roads. You know, when we saw the report earlier on, I was saying that the road looks like donuts that have been arranged on a tree or something, because look at the consistent number of potholes that people have to drive through. And you live in such an area, you are coming to work in prime locations like Accra Central, Tesano here, and all the other areas in Accra. You have to wake up earlier than usual to beat the traffic time or travel time on this kind of road. Because if you are driving, you can't speed on this nature of road. It will waste your time. Your vehicle's maintenance is another issue to talk about. And some of the residents also talked about when the weather or when the rains don't come down, the dust they have to deal with.
I know this road very well. This road connects to Pokwasi Maera. And you can use this road to actually Ebri. Yes. So this road, and this is the same road that the residents, they staged a demonstration, I think in the year 2018, and the then MC for the area, that is Wilkinson, went there to salvage the situation, and he was hooted at. The people actually sacked him because it's not been fixed. So it's been it's from the Pokwase area through to Ebri, and part of it is the Afiaiman side. But if it has to be fixed, it has to be immediately. We understand that there isn't money, but at least make it more travel. Try and just get the place in a shape that residents can use it. Like you said earlier, when it's in the dry season, it becomes dusty. And in the rainy season, that one you have to wash your car every now and then. And the painful part of the whole issue is you wash your car in town at the washing bay, and as soon as you get to your area, you are thinking, so am I really going to pass through this mud to my house?
You can't carry the car, obviously, so you'd have to you have to drive through it.
It's just a pressing issue that must be dealt with immediately. So we are trying to raise the lines to speak to some of the authorities in the area and find out from them what really has been done about this road, which has been in this state for a very long time, the Afiaiman road. So with this road, when you are on your way to Amasaman and off the Pokwase road, you'd move to the Pokwase Maera area through to Ebri. So if this road is completed or fixed, you can now ignore or avoid using Kwabenya side of
to
the
go
stretch
through Ebri.
to Ebri,
Yeah.
or coming all the way to Achimota before you come and use the Kramo side to Ebri.
Adentan,
So there
yeah.
are a lot of inner roads that we have that can be used, but like it said, much attention has not been paid to these roads. So the residents there are complaining that please make sure that you fix this road.
Well, we'll take a quick breather. When we come back, as Philip said, we are still trying to get in touch with the various authorities to speak on the road issues of Afiaiman. When we come back from the break, we'll still try to get in touch with them, and then we'll give you more insight on this one. We'll take a quick breather. We'll be right back. Do stay with us.
This Friday on Footprints, it's the turn of Kweku Sintim Nisa, aka KSM, who shares his own story about his educational journey, his life as an actor, satire.
New station called Vibe, and they're looking for, at that time, they said presenters. I said, okay, then I think I can do talk radio. Almost every single stand-up comedian in Ghana was a university graduate.
Oh, wow.
Because they saw me and they realized, oh, so it's okay to have your masters and still joke. As part of my bragging rights, I changed that image. And I made comedy an intellectual exercise. Politically incorrect had Rollins sitting there, his wife, many people from the, what do you call it, diplomatic community.
Yeah, I remember. Footprints airs every Friday at 7 p.m. with a repeat on Sunday at 4 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Looking for the latest buzz in Ghana's entertainment world? Welcome to Ghana Weekend, your ultimate destination for all things creativity and entertainment.
Stay in the loop with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and then insider stories from your favorite creatives and stars. From music, movies, fashion and art, lifestyle and culture, Ghana Weekend brings it all together. Get a daily dose of entertainment, discover new talent, and never miss out on the creativity that defines our vibrant culture.
Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle Ghana Weekend, on X Ghana Weekend, on TikTok Ghana Weekend, at Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube for the latest in entertainment, travel, and everything Ghana. Don't miss out. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, where entertainment meets creativity. Visit GhanaWeekend.com now.
Yeah, welcome back. We're still live on Breakfast Daily Radio on Channel 1 TV. Thank you for staying with us. But just before we went on the break, we were talking about the deplorable nature of the roads in Afiaiman here in Accra. Unfortunately, we've not been able to reach any of the authorities to speak to us and give us more insight on this issue. But we'll stay on it and then try to see if we can get in touch with them. And as and when, we'll bring you that. But probably maybe later and not today. But Philip, at this point, I don't know, any final comments on the issue?
For me, I think that we speaking to the Honorable Suhini, I think this week has been good.
Very good.
Because we've been able to get people
result-oriented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've been able to get people to actually work on the issues and whatever they've said that they are going to do. They've been able to talk about them, and also some sort of remedy assurances. Very important that they'll get their problems fixed. So like we've been saying every now and then, make sure that you let us know what the issue is in your community. 0204 447033. You can join us on our text console, on our text line, so that we will be able to bring our cameras there and film and get the authorities that be to respond to it, and we will tell your story and we will demand the change that is needed. So the fact that Suhini has said that they have given us some attention to the roads in his constituency, Tamale North 1, and also the greater Tamale area is very important. The Afiama one, we will still be pushing that to see how we can get in touch with the MC for Ganoth, and also the assembly member for the Afiama electoral area, and the member of parliament as well. Maybe get to the roads minister, that is Governor Kwame Agboja, to also give some assurances for the construction of the Afiama road that connects to Ibri.
Right, so we'll take our entertainment highlights for the morning right now, and when we come back, Philip will be talking sports with Iyao. Do stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ni Komete Kome. Now let's get into our first highlight. Former hip life star turned gospel minister Yaosiki shared his troubled past, revealing struggles with pornography, prostitution, chronic masturbation, and substance abuse before turning his life around. In a raw interview with Dr. Pounds on Pounds TV, the ex-Whooper Dodo hitmaker described his early exposure to alcohol and smoking, attributing much of it to his upbringing in a home where both parents were heavy drinkers. Yaosiki now uses his story to inspire others on the path to redemption. Now to our next highlight. Award-winning Ghanaian singer Efia has called for greater local support for female musicians, stressing the importance of radio play and domestic streaming to boost their visibility. In an interview on Accra FM, she noted that most streams for Ghanaian female artists come from abroad, despite their global success. Efia rejected claims that few vibrant female artists exist, naming talents like Jackie, Amare, and Sena Soul as proof of a thriving scene that deserves more homegrown recognition. Now to our third highlight. Afrobeat star Davido has declared that his musical success is self-made, crediting God, good music, and loyal fans for his rise, celebrating a milestone of over 11 million monthly listeners. The Nigerian singer highlighted that, unlike many peers, he had no industry godfather backing him at the start. In a post on X, Davido wrote, "No cosign, built from the ground up, just God, good music, and the best fans." End quote. Now to our next highlight. On the 7th May 2025, Galamsey, King Takite Kochuru II, announced plans to provide office space within his palace for the Ghana Tourism Authority to support collaboration ahead of the Homowo Festival. He expressed the broader vision of using tourism to combat hunger and boost Accra's development. Welcoming the initiative, GTA CEO Mami Efua Huajeto highlighted ongoing investments in key sites like the refurbished Jamestown Lighthouse, affirming plans to rehabilitate neglected tourist attractions in the Greater Accra region.
We would give you an office here. We'll give the Ministry of the Tourism Authority an office in the palace so that we can collaborate better. And you give us a liaison person where we can always communicate.
Now let's check out Channel 1 TV's Top 10 Countdown.
Now give me composure. What money can do, more money can do. Hey, now your papa money.
Number 9. Mame ya with G kakra minienti me mani wa na
huwa brati me hune sami wana me gabi ni benye sicha na kabano.
Number 8. 7.
Excellent, 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 excellent. You go put me for emergency.
Number 6.
It's too late. You lost a good one. My LB.
Number 5.
Baby, my taste. Got a bomb bomb, baby, my craze. Look at that face. Look at that bomb bomb. Look at that waist. What a bomb bomb, baby, my
Number 4.
I need some help. Put my head on fire, can't cool. My head on fire,
Number
can't
3.
Another love and lost on this side. She was an angel, more than an angel. I no go on you, heaven knows the girl I did tell you. But spoon some holding, so she's
Number
not
2.
Take it to the max. Take it to the max. Please just rewind, let me take it to the max.
Caribbean girl, me know for tick, me know for top. Yeah, man, I watch my body like say they ma watch a match. Yeah, anything is
Number
them girl.
1.
That I was with you when you were lost a lonely lover. Don't forget about me so soon. If you see the light, remember that I was with you when you.
This is the Channel 1 Countdown.
And this is how we end entertainment highlights on Breakfast Daily. For more updates and exclusive content, don't forget to visit us at GhanaWeekendTV.com. Subscribe to Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube and follow us on X and Instagram at Ghana Weekend. Let's keep the conversation going. I am Ni Komete Kome.
So make sure that you log on to GhanaWeekend.com for more entertainment stories. Now, it's time for us to talk sports. Yao Minta, how are you?
I'm doing well. Philip.
Charlie, Arsenal know how?
Arsenal.
Why they know they sit top?
They know they sit top, and they at this point they are going trophyless this season, and so we have to wait next season to see if they'll win another trophy.
What really is the problem? Because see, the first one, PSG, Arsenal, 1-0, right?
1-0, yeah.
1-0, yeah. So we were expecting that the fact that Partey wasn't part.
Yes.
The commander himself. When he comes, you do some magic.
Yeah.
But the magic didn't happen.
Yeah, yesterday it didn't
Why,
happen.
he didn't play to his fullest yesterday?
Yes, he didn't play to his best. He didn't play to his best. And you look at both PSG goals that came about, he was involved in a negative way. It wasn't in a positive way because in one instance, he lost possession. In another instance, he tried to clear the ball, and it only ended up falling to a PSG player, that's Fabian Ruiz, who just controlled the ball and slammed the ball into the net. And so, generally, he was okay, but he was far from his best. He was far from his best.
What they have accounted for that reason? Or
you have to factor in the quality of the opposing team. The opposing team is a quality side. PSG, they have a very quality side. Very good midfielders. Joao Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz. A mix of athleticism, a mix of football IQ, a mix of intelligence and experience too. Fabian Ruiz, very experienced lad. He played for Spain at the 2024 Euros. They ended up winning the championship. So he has bags of experience. He's competed in the Champions League for a while. Then you bring in the youthfulness of a guy like Joao Neves. He's been a brilliant signing for PSG. Covers a lot of ground, and the football IQ, Vitinha and company. So you have to factor in the quality of the opposing team. And it just wasn't the best outing for Partey.
So now the argument that we are making on social media, or the camp for Partey is making that, you should his contract?
Yes.
Review his contract?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
contract?
he should stay. He's definitely going to stay.
You think that still holds water?
Oh yeah, it still holds water. Very much so, because at the end of the day, it's a huge sample size that you are looking at. It's not just one game.
Yeah.
And even that game that he was off color, his off color performance will pass for great performance for a lot of midfielders. He is that good. He's a world-class midfielder. Let's not take it away from him. And so for me, you have to look at the broader spectrum, and you just can't base your negotiations on one game. And like I said, even that game that we are saying like, yeah, he didn't perform at his best. His poor performance or his average performance will pass off for a great performance for a lot of players in the world. So for me, no, it shouldn't affect the terms of his negotiations. It shouldn't affect the conversation that they're having over that contract. And more so because Arsenal midfielder Jorginho, who normally steps in as a backup, he's set to sign for a Brazilian team. I believe it's Corinthians, once the season ends. And so there'll be a vacuum in there. So if you let Partey go, that means you've let two of your holding midfielders leave in the transfer window. And bringing two players to play that role, I think it will be too much of a tough ask for Arsenal, knowing very well that after going trophyless again this season, they have to hit the ground running next season. No excuses. They can't have any drop in form. They can't have any drop in momentum. And so you would want to have a placeholder in there, like and a top one, of course, like Partey in there, so that you can build off from where you left off this season for next season. So yeah, definitely shouldn't affect his negotiations with Arsenal over a new contract.
What is PSG doing right?
PSG, I think they've adopted a new style and they've let go of, quote unquote, as their new sporting director said, the bling bling.
Okay.
Their former sporting director, that's Leonardo. He was a former Brazilian international, played for Brazil, won the 1994 World Cup. He was into stardom. So you've heard of the Galacticos, Real Madrid. They've signed Ronaldo, David Beckham, and all that. He did the French version of that. So they brought in Lionel Messi, they brought in Neymar, they brought in Ibrahimovic, they brought in big stars like Lionel Messi, and it didn't work. So the Luis Ocampos, the new sporting director for PSG, he came in and said, okay, we are done with the bling bling, because there were a lot of egos in the dressing room. Everyone has his own
Everybody
marketing
feels he's
team.
Oga.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's Oga, he's a big boy, that kind of thing. So it just wasn't gelling. The cohesion wasn't on point. And so he came in and said, you know what, to hell with all these big boys. And he did away with all of them. And he brought on young players, players who are energetic, players who can run, players who are quality, and players who fit into the system and allow the team to play as a unit.
Oh, beautiful.
That's the thing. That's the secret for PSG. It allows the team to play as a unit. And that's why they even let go of Mbappe. They could have put the bill of Mbappe's astronomical wages and demands. But at some point, you just have to let him go. And Luis Enrique, their head coach, he's a no-nonsense kind of guy.
Okay.
And he doesn't do well with those egotistical players. Even if he has to lose a game or two, he will take it. If he has to send a message across to a quote-unquote star for him to buy into what he is trying to put across. And so, for me, that's what is working for PSG. That is what is working for PSG. And the fact that they've recruited the right way. Back in the day, they were all about name brands. So you bring in Lionel Messi, okay. Lionel Messi will bring you the audience, he'll bring you the market, the sponsors and all that. But yeah, that's great. But at the end of the day, how does he fit into the system playing alongside Neymar? How does he fit into the system playing alongside a guy like Mbappe? Knowing very well that all three players do not track back when they lose the ball. So if they don't track back when they lose the ball, then you're at a deficit.
Is that to say like they don't do the dirty work?
They don't do the dirty work. Thank you very much. They don't do the dirty work. And so if you have all these players in your team, it will be a struggle.
But when you come in with a young one, they want to do the dirty work.
teams. But when you have players who are committed to doing the dirty work, who are committed to putting in the hard miles and playing as a unit, more or less, you can get the job done.
Wow.
You can definitely get the job done. And so for me, that's the reason why PSG have come this far. And it's been an excellent rebuilding project. It's been an excellent rebuilding project.
Just to branch off a little. From what you're saying, don't you think that that's what Black Star needs now?
Oh yeah. I've always maintained that we are just flip-flopping when it comes to what we need to do moving forward.
Yeah.
Because for me, as great as Jordan Ayew has been and as impressive as he has been since the 2023 AFCON, I would have moved on from him.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the 2022 World Cup, for me, it should have been the end of the old crew or the old block. So we do away with the Ayew, we do away with Jordan Ayew, we do away with the old squad. Then we usher in the new guys. Because at the end of the day, Otuado has made it clear that he needs players who he's building for the future. And if you are building for the future, why do you still have players who can aid you in that respect for you to be able to build into the future? And that's why when he made Mohamed Kudus the captain, I was happy. But it turns out he said it only was on an interim basis. No, for me, it shouldn't have been the case. You should have handed the baton over to Mohamed Kudus and given him the backing. But he gave it and he took it back, kind of. And so we are still flip-flopping. And per the way things are going, Jordan Ayew would definitely be part of the Black Star squad that will compete in the World Cup next year in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. That is if we're able to see out our qualification campaign. But for me, it should have been now. The next generation, the next is now. They've got now. So let it flow. Because in the near future, you look at the Black Stars, the team that we have, the kind of players that we have, a lot of them are young, 25 and under, 26 and under, especially in the key areas. The attack, for instance, you look at Semenyo in the midfield, you look at Mohamed Kudus, you look at Ibrahim Suleimana on the wings, you look at Ernest Nyama, praying that he gets a proper recovery from his knee injury. Same for Fatawu Ishahaku. All these players are under 26. You look at the midfielders I've mentioned, Ibrahim Suleiman, Mohamed Kudus. You look at the defense, for instance, Mohamed Salisu. You look at Abdul Momin. All of these young guys are in there. And so for me, it's about time we flip the page and allow the youngsters to take over. But so far, Otuado has delayed on that. But at the end of the day, the results are going just okay, at least in the World Cup. And so we can't complain much. But in the AFCON, that's why we failed to qualify to the AFCON. So for me, that whole chaos could have been avoided if he had taken a firm decision and not taking a decision and gone back on his words. So for me, that's a little bit on the Black side.
We just moved a little bit away from the PSG as now to talk about Black Stars, because it looks like what PSG is doing, Black Stars could copy, maybe from the club level coming down to the national level, Ghana. Well, let's go back to Inter Milan.
Inter Milan and Barcelona. Yes.
Oh, Barca, I know how.
Oh, no, this one you can't say Barca how. That game.
Oh, you're a Barca fan?
No, I'm not a Barca fan.
Okay.
That game.
Oh, why? That's.
Oh, no, I'm not a Barca fan.
You don't like Barca?
I like Barca. I love Barca. I love football. I'm an idealist.
Okay.
I love football, and I love football being played in the proper way.
Oh, okay.
So for some strange reason, I have a soft spot for Barcelona because they play football the right way. And I've always maintained this, that they play football the right way. And so I always have a soft spot for Barcelona. And that is aside, they having over the years incredible players I've fallen in love with right from the days of Kluivert, Ronaldo, Nazario de Lima, not Cristiano Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, then Messi came along. So I've always had a soft spot for Barcelona. But that game that they lost to Inter Milan, you cannot say, oh, Babasa, how? You have to applaud Inter Milan. And any team...
So you are saying that Inter Milan played better than Barca on that day?
I think they showed a little bit of experience.
Okay.
Experience. And it was always going to come down to experience because the two teams were evenly matched in terms of quality. In terms of coaching, they were evenly matched. Hansi Flick for Barcelona and Simone Inzaghi for Inter Milan. They were evenly matched. But it had to go down to the experience because if, let's say, Barcelona, it was Inter Milan that had that lead, that 3-2 lead, with 3 minutes left to play in the game, they would have buckled down and shut the game down.
Oh.
They would have buckled down and shut the game down. But Barcelona still kept on playing a high line. And that's what led to the equalizer for Inter Milan and forced the game to go into extra time. So that was the only difference. Aside that, it was just a brilliant game of football, and everyone fell in love with that game. Yeah. And I heard people, including Thierry Henry, saying that he thanks both teams for letting people fall back in love with football because now there was this consensus that football had become too boring. It had become too robotic because players were controlled so much by the coaches on the sidelines because they wanted to get every detail right on point. And so it made it very robotic. It didn't have that natural feel. I mean, like I said, I'm an idealist. I want my attacking midfielder not to be thinking about pressing high up the pitch, running around. No. Let him create. I mean, back in the day growing up, I mean, if you're a number 10 or you play the creative midfield position and you wear that number 10 jersey, your job is not to be doing dirty work, running around, tackling all over the pitch, sprinting up and down. No. Yours is to just focus on dribbling past 2-3 players, laying on the pass for the striker to score. And what we saw on Tuesday, it had everything like that. And it was just a brilliant piece of football, display of football. And any team that qualified from that tie deserved it. And the team that didn't qualify, you can't say, oh, they disappointed. No, they didn't disappoint. It's just a game of football one has to go through. It's just that one had to go through. And unfortunately, it had to be, for Barcelona fans, it had to be Inter Milan. Because
but they were trolling Barcelona fans. They were
trolling because there was a lot of hate watch. Hate watch. When I mean hate watch, a lot of against supporters union.
Which people do you think were doing that? Arsenal fans,
Real Madrid fans, Arsenal fans were in there. Chelsea fans were in there because Barcelona beat them.
The first Chelsea people.
All those years back, they still haven't forgiven Barcelona for that. Exactly. Plenty. So Chelsea was in there. Real Madrid fans were in there. Man United fans were in there. Oh yeah, Man United.
Oh, then Barca had a lot of haters.
Yeah. Man United fans have still not forgiven Barca for beating them in the 2009 and 2011 Champions League finals. Other than that, Man United would have had 5 Champions League titles. But those Pep Guardiola Barcelona teams beat them in the finals in 2009 and 2011. And so Man United fans still harbor some angst towards Barcelona fans.
So they didn't want Barca to win at all?
No. They didn't want Barcelona to win. So the hate was massive. And so when I was here, I watched the game, and all of a sudden you could hear people shout, "Go!" The hate watch was massive. It was that deep. And so, a lot of people didn't want Barcelona to qualify the Champions League. And the fact that, Lamine Yamal is a star boy, 17-year-old. And a lot of people believe that the hype is a little bit too much. And so if Barcelona had qualified to the final, that hype would have blown through the roof. So people believe that, okay, they not qualifying has maintained world peace. And so now we can just relax and just enjoy the football. But like I said, the team that qualifies from that group or from that tie will win the Champions League.
So you think Inter will win it? So Inter meeting PSG.
So for me, Inter will win it.
Oh, really?
And this, I said this like when we were playing the quarterfinals or so. That
you can't be so sure.
Yeah, it can be so short. Football is unpredictable.
Of course.
It's just like
I just sometimes don't know how the investors do it because football is very unpredictable.
It's unpredictable, but if you put some things in place, it will work out. It's just like life.
Yeah.
Life is unpredictable.
Exactly.
You can get everything right, but you won't check out right. But in some instances, you can put everything right, and it will turn out right. Because if you invest the right way, your dividends is likely going to be great. And I'll give you an example. Look, 2008 Euros. Spain won the European Championship. Spain won the European Championship. They went into the World Cup in 2010 as the predominant favorites, like every hands-on favorites. Yeah. But the first game, they lost to Switzerland. And the reason a lot of people said about that loss was that, Spain, Iniesta didn't play for Spain. And that's why they lost. But guess what? Iniesta returned, Spain won all their remaining games, and they ended up winning the World Cup with Iniesta scoring the goal in the final that got them the trophy.
Beautiful.
So sometimes that's how it works. It's not, football is unpredictable, but sometimes
you can predict
based on certain factors. You can make certain predictions, and it will come out
instances,
the way you expected it to. So for me,
when is the final? The
31st May.
31st May.
Yeah, 31st May. It will be played in Munich, Germany.
Okay.
The Munich Stadium in Germany. So
now
it
let's
should be
come
a
down
wonderful
to
one.
EPL.
I know a lot of Ghanaian fans aren't hyped by Inter Milan playing PSG in the final because it's not an EPL team. They wanted Partey to play Arsenal, and in-house we wanted and Arsenal to qualify because I know for sure. If had Arsenal qualified to the Champions League final and maybe won it, I know there was going to be a showdown.
Oh, there'll be showdown, like there'll be party. I know Papa Sam would have done
there would have been a showdown.
But you know what? We can talk more about sports. It's been interesting conversation with Yao Minta here from the sports and also from the world of sports. My name is Philip Nilate. This has been a show, Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. I did this with the Jifa KD. We have to cross over to the NPP headquarters now because the minority leader, Alexander Peyomakin, is addressing the press on the 120-day contract of the John Mahama administration.
The 120 days of a bitter Ghana under President John Dramani Mahama. As we've already been told by the national organizer, yesterday, Mr. President marked his own script, a script that the questions were set by him, and after that, he gave himself a mark. This morning, we are here to expose all the lies, the falsehood, and the inconsistencies. We call it NDC's great deception, from their own social contract to a social collapse. 120 days of bitter government under John Dramani Mahama. In the lead up to the 2024 general elections, candidate John Dramani Mahama released a document titled Mahama's First 120 Days Social Contract. It was marketed as a sacred pledge, a hard-coded promise to the Ghanaian people